Hello friends and welcome back. Before we roll into the episode, we'd like to remind you to check out and support some of our other projects. Talkin' Tolkien will obviously continue here, but the stories of Tolkien are also continuing through our very own audio drama series. This production is led by our very own Lane Smith, and the cast and crew are all Tolkien fans dedicated to bringing the Shire to life in a new way. If you do enjoy what we do here at Up Talkin' Tolkien, then you're absolutely going to love that project. Head over to Instagram and type The Red Book of Westmarch, or Concerning Hobbits. We also have a link down in the description. Also, the Flannel Wizard, yours truly, has a YouTube channel where I'm doing additional coverage of Rings of Power, Wheel of Time, and the House of the Dragon. It's my all-in-one fantasy channel where I do reactions, reviews, and breakdowns. And finally, Rosie and I are continuing our Harry Potter adventure over on Shell Cottage Radio. We'd love to have you check it out. Thanks for all the support. We really appreciate you guys. Now enjoy the show.
This episode of Unexpected Podcast is brought to you by Bear McCreary. Thank you for going live. He's gone country, back to his roots. He's gone country, look at them boots. He's gone country, check out that smile. He's gone country. It's been a while, boy.
That's pretty good.
I don't know if those are the words to the song, but
dude,
I mean, you should just pass this through and then put that on there.
Oh,
since you're wearing camo now, you're going to. It wouldn't fit your head. Oh heck no, boy. We'd have to get that thing altered. But since you're going to county fairs, you're raising chickens. You're driving F-250s now, like
dude,
F-1 trillions,
dude, I drive
whatever.
4.556, man. 4.556. That's what I drive, dude.
What's towing capacity on that?
Talking about 50,000, dude. About 50,000.
50,000 toes? That's so many toes.
That's a lot.
Where are you getting all those feet from?
I don't know, man, but that's what they said on the manual. So, that's how much we tow, dog. All right? Listen here, guys. Hey,
oh, shoot,
listen,
man.
Friends.
Yeah.
Welcome back. In case you couldn't figure out there from Layton's intro, I've gone country. And if you're listening on the podcast feed, I highly encourage you to go check out the YouTube video where you might see me, you might not.
You might not see part of you.
Might see part of me. I mean, I'm going to put my glasses on here just to see. Check these.
I got to say, bro.
Look at those.
Are those blue light or whatever?
Look how
the blue light
I can't even get them. Yeah. Look at the glare.
They look good.
Look at the glare.
They look real good. I like the glare, though, because then it's like, what's he thinking, man? It's like a poker face.
What's he seeing, dude? What's he seeing?
Is that a seeing stone in those glasses? What's happening?
Dude, I am seeing, Lane,
Drubble?
I'm going to tell you what, this is crazy, dude. I didn't think I just put these on, and I'm watching the trailer for Rings of Power. Oh, my God, dude. There is stuff we did not see. There is literally things happening in Season 2 that, unless
thank God.
Wearing,
hopefully is it good stuff?
Yeah, there's extra stuff. You have to be wearing particular glasses, and there's a way to see this that I think everybody else is not seeing. So, to be honest with you, only shills would see what I'm seeing right now.
But I wanted to also ask you before we got too deep into the discussion topics. How did you spend your check? Because I dropped mine right back into Amazon. I thought we had to kind of like use it within in-house.
Right.
So I used it on Prime deliveries and stuff. So I didn't know if did you go outside? Did you did you put in a bank account? What did you do with your shill money?
Well,
are you keeping it secret? Is it? Yeah.
Yeah. For now, it's secret. I can tell you that I also did invest a little bit.
Okay. Nice.
I felt like that was important because that was also kind of part of the deal, right? Is that if you're
producer, right? Aren't you a
yeah, I mean, if they give us money, we have to, kind of. That's the contract that we signed with Amazon. Yes. So we could get in trouble here, actually, pretending that we signed a contract. Maybe we did, maybe we didn't. You guys can't even see my eyes, so you won't know if I'm lying or not. But
we won't know. Yeah. Tell the truth, sir. We could get. I mean, if we get a cease and desist, then hey, we've done something good. I guess maybe there will be.
I have not spent the money. I'll tell you that. I've not spent the money.
wanted
We
to
get
check.
those off. Those are so distracting. I had to take
Yeah.
those. I was distracting myself. I couldn't even think because I was like looking at the camera like, what is going on with my eyes? I don't know. What would I, to be honest with you, my check hasn't come in yet because basically I was told that I have not chilled out enough. Okay. So
hard enough.
Not hard enough.
Dude. You have to
not hard enough.
You have to chill out harder than that's impressive.
If you don't,
you don't
get the check. So I don't know how you got yours.
Well, I didn't actually. I was lying. They told me I have to start shilling in order to get this payment.
Okay.
They said they're on the hunt for shills. They said I could be worth a shilling or two if I shill hard enough. And I thought to myself, I don't know. I mean, I've thought about putting pictures of my feet on the internet, to make some kind of like extra money. This seems a little more respectable, not much.
Just
It might be less. It might be less. Yeah, just a toe hair.
Just a couple toe hairs.
Just a couple toe hairs. It might. I don't know. You could probably tip the balance on that one. But yeah. So I thought, if my kids want to look me in the eyes someday, maybe it would be easier for shill versus the foot route. So
Dude,
I'm
let
still
me
up in
ask
the
you a
air.
question. Let me ask you a question. And all seriousness,
Yeah.
I hear this all the time. This whole shill conversation. It's kind of crazy. People like the moment that you say. So like I was recently covering the Acolyte Star Wars show or whatever, and I thought
were people calling you shills?
Yeah, I thought one thing was cool. I was like, man, that's actually kind of cool. That's actually not too bad. And I literally had it was the most popular video I've ever done. 100,000 comments that just said shill. And I was like, wow.
Jeez, dude. That's insane. Like you can't even like something about something without being if the majority of people dislike something and you find something in it that you enjoy, then you are a sellout. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. It is
pretty dumb. I actually do wish those, because here's the thing. I actually am, like, a lot of times when the people who are like against that show or this show or whatever, I'm kind of like, hey, I'm with you guys. All right, I'm with you. But when they go out and you try to say you're shill. You
betrayed us. You turned on us.
Yeah. I knew. You're wearing the camo shirt. It was all a ruse. Yeah, you don't get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and hunt the deer like we do.
He's a fake deer hunter, and he doesn't even trust us to know where his body is.
He doesn't even trust us to know where his body is.
He tried to tell us who he was voting for. He ain't voting for our guy.
Camo's deceptive.
I told somebody we did a live before this, and by the way, Lady and I just need to catch up, just in case you guys haven't figured that out. We just gotta have a lot of things we gotta get out of our system. But I told the live, I said, I'm gonna get political, man. I'm gonna get political tonight, and I don't know when. We don't do an outline. We don't do show notes. It's just off the cut. It's unexpected. It's honestly unexpected, and I love it. It's the way it has to be.
Yes.
But
it has to be contractually from Amazon. It contractually has to be.
They literally said, if you guys think through what you're gonna say, don't post it. Like you need to re-record that and do it improv. And I said, okay.
I do want to issue an apology before we get started real quick. The last time we did record, I think we were recovering the teaser trailer, which came out in March or April or something. May?
Yeah.
Something like that. And some of my comments, this is a public apology. This is an official. This is like if we were like, if we were on people's radar, this would be on CNN or something.
Oh, God.
Or any number of, I'm not discriminating, news networks, any of them, I'd be on here because this is a big deal. I want to apologize for my, you have an apology you're going to issue later.
Yeah.
So I want to apologize for insinuating that anyone who is excited about season 2, anyone who's excited about the show in general is not an actual fan of Tolkien, of Middle Earth, of hobbits, of anything, of any rings, powerful or powerless. And I really am. I'm sorry for the pain that I've caused. I'm sorry for the atrocities that have issued forth from, just careless remarks. And so, I'm really sorry. And I'm sorry to you, okay? Because
Appreciate
I feel like I just you got roped up in it, dude. You didn't even know what was going on, okay?
No,
And
it's all right.
And I owe you an apology. I owe me an apology. And, and I officially owe Amazon an apology too. So that's contractual. So I'm sorry to all those parties. And just keep, if you're loving the show, keep loving it. If you're hating it, keep hating it.
Right.
If you want to change your mind, either way, don't let us influence you. We're just here to talk about our own personal takeaways. Same as it's always been.
Same as it's always been.
Yeah.
Hey, look, if our personal opinions offend you,
yes.
I mean, we're sorry, I guess, right? So,
yeah, 100%.
Do you know there is a small pocket of our listeners that have been wanting an apology since 2020, and it is time. It is time. I'm so glad.
Okay. Okay. It's hot. It's very, very hot in the Midwest. Just got a little hotter.
Hey, and they're the people. They're the people that were pro this show.
Yeah.
Pro this
That's
show.
True.
Okay?
Pro the show.
And so I'm going to go ahead and say, just like you did, I would like to formally apologize to everyone that I allowed the darkness to also, the darkness being Lane.
Yes. Right here.
From season 1.
It's me.
Cloud.
Yeah.
Cloud my,
I was
judgment on season 1. Guys, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that Lane was such a...
I know that's serious, too, because you went full Star Wars there. The cloud judgment, dude. Like,
dark side.
Wow.
Clouded my judgment, you guys. People probably think that actually happened, but let's just be honest, guys. Season 1. Okay, let me get real for just 2 seconds.
Yeah,
okay, we're kind of just kind of messing around here.
Being funny.
I watched the trailer. Okay.
Yes.
The teaser, I was kind of like, what the heck is going on? What's up with
what's
Dar?
happening?
Like, dude,
No one knew. Yeah.
And I had to go back and I was like, did Galadriel actually make out with Hallbrand, or was that just going on in my head? And it didn't actually happen in season 1. Did she almost make out with him, though? Did that actually happen? I kind of wish she would.
I know. I think it might have added a little we would have had some of that intimacy coordinated finally.
Spice.
Some spice to season 1. It would have been a little tastier. I don't remember either, though. I was going to say this when we're talking about details from season 1, but I'm going to just say it here. I've tried. I think I even messaged you. I'm sure I messaged you the one time. I have tried to go back in earnest, guys, not even in jest.
Yeah.
Look at I'm losing my headphone. Oh my God.
Hey, whoa. Sorry, technical difficulties here.
Sorry, give me a second.
So wait, whoa, guys. I'm stalling here because something's happening to Lane. And
it's the darkness. It's clouding me.
Dude.
So anyway,
that just shows how much you're sweating over there, dude. This apology was a real thing for us, man.
I am so wet right now.
I'm pitting out like like I'm up in a tree stand at like
pitting out, bro.
5 in the morning. It's 90 degrees.
That deer, that buck's going, I smell me a doe.
I literally know there are people out there that hunt. They're like, Ez has never been up at 5 o'clock in the morning when it's 90 degrees. This guy has no idea what it is. He is the biggest fake I have ever.
You know what else they're saying? That shows he don't hunt. It's never 90 degrees in buck season, boy. You know that's
never. So. Never. The reason I wore the camo shirt, by the way, too,
below.
Just to get there, is that I wanted to come on here and just let everybody know, hey, Ez is a shill, and I wanted to be this full shill for the show, right? But I wanted the gone country. I'm gonna evolve and start putting a country hat on. I might even put back here,
Mullet?
Make America Great Again. Just to really sell it. And then Amazon's like, that's literally the guy we don't want shilling for us. What is he doing? What is
what's kind of crazy?
That was the politics talk, by the way.
I think thank God. I think that the camo. Jeez, I've been watching too much Olympics in Paris. The camo is actually a really good look for you.
Hey,
so I might actually. Okay, so no, it really does look. It looks really, really good.
Thanks.
And it's not a surprise. I'm not surprised by that.
Hey, all right, yeah.
But I have contemplated also kind of jumping on this bandwagon of like, like almost like Trojan horse shilling, if you will. Like we're going to be like shills, but then we're going to be like the wrong kind of people, So I actually thought about growing out a mullet. And in my case, it would be party in the back, out of business in the front. And I just thought that would be maybe the coolest. Maybe it's a new T-shirt that we could print or something, and invisible with your camo.
Wow.
And party in the back, out of business in the front. I think that's what we do.
That's actually, dang.
Yeah.
Think about that though.
That's what
Like
we do.
all of a sudden, we start to sell out, and like we have all these huge numbers, all these huge ratings, and like, guys, this is the wrong show. We didn't want this.
I love how we have gone so hypothetical with this. Like, this is insane, man. This is awesome. This is a new thing we're going to do. This is a new thing.
We like to pretend like we're a big deal, okay?
Yeah.
But what were we even talking about there originally? Oh, so
the trailer. The trailer.
The trailer. Back to the trailer,
Yes.
which we're not even. I still have other things I want to say before we get to the trailer. So if you're looking to hear about the trailer, skip ahead an hour. Okay, Go ahead 1 hour.
People who hate the small talk are gonna hate this episode.
They're gonna hate this episode. That's all right.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. So this is all for Amazon. Okay, so sorry guys.
Contractually obligated. Sorry guys.
This is what they told us to do. I'm kidding, by the way. I have to keep saying I'm kidding because I'm worried that somewhere over there's a guy with a notepad who's like, "We're going after these guys. We're gonna get them."
Are they mocking us? Are they mocking us?
Oh my God. Actually, to be honest with you, to be absolutely honest, I sat here with Lottie. I'll say this before we get to the trailer stuff. Then I'm gonna go back to season 1 real quick. But I watched the trailer. And the teaser, I was like, this is what the heck. We were still kind of flustered by it. And then I watched the trailer and I thought, dude, this ain't that bad. What? Okay, all right. The music was rolling. It was good. I was like, okay, there could be something here. I was like, maybe this should have been season 1.
Oh my God! Didn't we
Dude.
even? I think we said. I think we said that at some point. I think we said something about like. Maybe that's the best case scenario. Is that season 2 we could get into and be like, wow, this should have been season 1. It definitely. I will give this. I will heap this praise onto the trailer for season 2. It looks much more eventful than season 1. It looks far more eventful than season 1. It looks. I don't know if it's going to take any more time because again, like apart from the prologue bit, it kind of feels like we honestly had no idea how long. The length of the first season was, right? We were kind of like, was it a week? Was it like 4 months? Was it like 2 years? How long did it actually? Was it a day? Like, how long did it actually take? Right. We don't really get a sense of. I don't think anyway. I don't think there are any like kind of mile markers of like, oh, this happened 3 weeks ago because we just said that it happened 3 weeks ago, or we had like a little, like subtitle that said, oh, this happened 5 weeks later or days later. So. Right. It almost kind of feels like maybe it'll take more time. They're gonna have to explain some absences of characters too, like Bronwyn is gone, so we're gonna have to.
Why is she gone? By the way,
I don't know if it's only. Well, the actress said she had other obligations. She's like a big human rights activist.
Oh yeah, okay.
And so I think maybe she kind of she just said like this is more important than acting right now for me. Probably, at all times, I would assume. But I think she kind of erred on the side of not being in the show so she could do more. And I don't know exactly. I don't know exactly what.
Okay, she just kind of
country. It's a Middle Eastern country where like women's rights are oppressed, like pretty openly. And so I don't know if it's like Iran or something. Yeah. So, Iran. How did I say that? I don't know. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. Has time gone? I know that time has gone on, obviously, but if we'll get more a sense of like a broader, because you talked about it, I think even in our initial like covering of season 1 is like, dude, it just feels like we thought we would. Well, maybe it was before the show even came out. You're like, how are we going to navigate 2,000 years or like 1,000 years? How are we going to experience all this? And like I think one of the fears that people brought up was that they weren't going to take advantage of like the expanse of time. So that'll be, but it does. Back to that point, it looks a lot more eventful than season 1. I will say that. No shill, just straight up. So.
Yeah, no, no shill. It is Shillville though. I by the way, we are renaming the Shire Shillville, just so you guys know. Okay. But there's gonna be some people are literally gonna unsubscribe after this episode. Like, Ez, you better be joking or what else? Do want to give a shout out though to a couple people here.
Yeah.
Erin, thank you. She was on the live earlier, and she said she had this to say, which I thought was kind of interesting, which is that I love Tolkien and I love the journey in The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbits, right? So there's this journey element that you kind of go on. And I made the joke. I was like, what do you mean you didn't like the journey between Galadriel and Hallbrand, a made-up character, and their romantic journey? You didn't like the romantic journey that was going on? I was just joking. But I think, though, actually in this I mean, maybe I wasn't, maybe I was. There is, though, in this season 2, going to be probably more of that journey-like thing happening. I feel like we're going to get there, and Sauron is really going to be the bad guy, unless you're Celebrimbor, then,
he would be fooled by a paper bag on your head. Hey, I've never seen you before.
Dude,
you the guy who told me to mix metals? Dude, you that guy? Your hair's long. I can't tell.
Dude, we had Zamdrist in here from Minnesota, and he was like, he brought up one, I guess it was a quote in one of the comments or something that somebody made on one of the YouTube videos. It says, all of them were deceived, for another wig was made.
Wig was made. That's hilarious.
I was like, dude, that is spot on.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. How is he? So it's weird, and I'll play the trailer here in a second, and you guys on the audio version will just hear it, and then Layden and I will see it, and you guys hopefully have seen it. But we'll get to that in a second. In the trailer though, there's like a moment where Hallbrand is like coming in from the rain. And Celebrimbor is like, get in here. What? Wait.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. And what's weird? What is that? Is that just how they cut it, or is he sort of like, where you been, confused. Mate?
I know. I was confused too, because last time we saw Hallbrand, he had his sick little hoodie on, and he was walking into Mordor saying, "Thanks for setting it up for me, guys. Appreciate it." And then in this trailer, there was way more Hallbrand than I thought there was gonna be. I didn't think we'd see him again. Right. Unless these are flashbacks or something, which again seems kind of like maybe it would be kind of weird. But like we see Hallbrand a bunch, even like in chains. Like he's like, I think he's shackled in the one shot, and you're like, okay, well, what's going on here? And then Celebrimbor just sees a big fire. I don't know if like the forge got out of hand. He's like, whoa, who's this pretty boy walking out of the fire?
Dude,
and he's like, what should I call you? It's just the one thing I will say is, gosh dang, man, they are dumbing down Celebrimbor. Like they're making Celebrimbor look like the biggest heel. If we were wrestling right now, I don't even know not a heel. Heel's like a guy who just gets all the brunts. But in like WWE, who's the moron? Is there like a term for like a stupid guy? Like he just. I don't know. Yeah. That is the one kind of. I mean, there's a bunch of shames, but that's the one glaring shame from the trailer. I'm just like, geez, like what? Like, because remember there were rumors, like maybe about a year ago, or there were castings. I think there were official castings, that there was another actor who was going to play Sauron, and I think in our minds, like at least I assumed it was going to be like, oh, he's going to take another form to trick people. Like it's not going to be Charlie Vickers coming back as Anatar. It's going to be this other actor, and then it would make a lot of sense. You're like, wait a minute, whoa, this is the same guy. And then you could have some kind of big reveal, like they were trying to do last season. You could actually have that reveal, and it'd be like, whoa, dude. For people who didn't know the name Anatar, they'd be like, whoa, how is he the same person? He looks different. Like what? And I think really what that ended up being is this actor that they said was going to be Anatar is just like the person in the full-on Sauron armor.
Oh,
so
okay.
we don't even see him. So I don't know. Ironically, some deception there, and like assuming that he was going to be another form, but he's really actually just the. I mean, I guess technically it's another form of Sauron, but it's the one where we don't even see his physical like attributes. So
right.
I was surprised. I was surprised by that, and it just really makes Celebrimbor look kind of stupid, doesn't it? I mean, like he wouldn't recognize his face. Like he's this guy who's attentive to detail. He's like he's one of these great smiths. He is obsessed with getting things just right, and he can't tell the 8x10 is exactly the same. Like you put wig, like it's like Slim Shady and Eminem's. Like they're different guys, right? It's like Clark Kent and Superman. Like you put a pair of glasses on, you're like, I can't quite tell.
Can't tell, dude. But cannot tell.
That actually maybe they should have given him glasses. I think that actually works better. Like Clark Kent and Superman, you can almost kind of see it because that one thing on the face is weird. It's hey. Now, are you Shillstari? Is that who you are?
Shillstari over here, dude.
Where'd Ez
Look
go?
how crooked those bad boys
Where'd Ez
are.
go?
Okay, I'm right here.
Bro, where'd Ez go?
Dude,
I
I'm
don't
back.
know.
Here I am.
It's
all right.
glare, man.
This is Shillstari. I'm Shillstari right now, and then there I am, dude.
You're the focal flash there. The
Holy
optical illusion.
I'm with you though on the Celebrimbor thing.
Yeah.
I was really excited about that character, and I
You
think
were
that's-
amped for him. Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly even like that actor a lot. And
I know.
so here's the thing with actors. I mean, for example, like love Mark Hamill, and in The Last Jedi, he had to play a version of Luke Skywalker that sucked.
Yeah. A lot of people didn't like. Yep.
Which is tough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so you can-
that's my opinion.
you can-
I mean, some people loved it, but
Yeah.
I loved the one moment that he had at the very end. But then for the most part, and Mark Hamill had to say, he came out and said, like, look, I didn't agree with that version of Luke, but I had to go my performance had to be the best I could make it. That's my job.
Yeah.
I had to come out and I had to try to sell the idea from the showrunner or the director or whoever. And that's what all these guys are doing here in Rings of Power. I mean, they're trying to do their very best. So a lot of times I don't really blame
No,
you really
heck no.
look at the showrunners and the writers and you say, guys, what is actually going on? And I think a lot of them are just because I was thinking about the like Joseph Maul and why he left.
Yeah.
I don't know why he left.
It doesn't make a lot of sense, does it?
Doesn't make
I think
any sense.
I kind of I know that
Could
he
be
was
personal,
the biggest.
So
Yeah, personal. I want to say maybe familial too. Like maybe I think something about his dad. Like his dad was ill or something. So that could legit be the reason. But
right.
I also know that I remember anyway that he was outspokenly one of the biggest Tolkien fans. Like from like reading the books and knowing the lore and like loving the movies and stuff. And so I wonder if maybe like some of the stuff that happened, again, that we don't really know about, all that behind the scenes stuff we've never heard explanations for, not good ones anyway. And so maybe some of that stuff like didn't sit right with him, or he just thought, you know what, jumping ship before it goes down. You know, there's only 2 in Numenor anyway, ready to go, so I got to get off. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's a pity too, because like I think universally people loved his character, like, and loved his performance, dude. Even like, so Sarah got me watching Game of Thrones. I think I told you that, and like, dude, he is one of my favorite characters. Dude, he's so like, talk about stoic and cool, and like he would be a great. Honestly, if he was a little bit younger, he'd be an awesome like Turin. In the Children of Hurin. Yeah. He would be awesome. Anyway, but bummer that he's gone. Right. I don't think the guy they picked is a terrible replacement.
Me neither.
I think if you're gonna and you could also kind of like write it into the story maybe, or just like rationalize it as a fan, like he's becoming more orc. He's becoming more Uruk, you know, like he's kind of devolving or something. Like his appearance changes in a way that. And there's so much heavy like makeup and prosthetics. I mean, I think like with the scarring and everything, and then like the wig and everything. So he looks similar enough that I don't know. Unless he's a terrible actor, which it doesn't seem like from the 5 seconds in the trailer. It'd probably be a good 1-for-1. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I honestly think he seems like he's going to do just fine. And like you said, with all the makeup and everything, it feels like you know that's an easy sell for us. And So I think we're good there, and he was an intriguing character. People were trying to theorize about who he actually is, where maybe he fits in the lore, all that kind of stuff. And again, it sounds like they don't have the rights to really even do some of that stuff. But then we're all kind of confused about do they have the rights to do what? I mean, what the hell? What is Tom Bombadil doing in this thing, man?
Oh my God!
We'll get there in a second. Hold on,
and why is he so? Why is he so sad?
Before we do that,
Okay. I'm gonna tease this because I think we want to get in the trailer. I don't want to sidetrack us. I've got a couple of really cool Easter eggs, like behind the scenes tidbits, stories that have been leaked to me, shared with me, is what I'll say. So we'll put that after the. You want to do that after the? Because I think it could generate some good conversation. Because I haven't told you this stuff in full yet. So
So after we do the
let's do the trailer. Yeah, I don't want to derail stuff. I'm trying to be a new lane. I'm trying to I'm trying to be a wide lane,
dude, and
a broad lane. Ooh,
I think people
maybe not though.
Whoa,
that leads to a bad place.
That's the broad road to destruction, my friend.
That's right, baby.
Which by the way, I got the Bible. Hey, by the way, I want to go ahead and say I know I've said by the way 5 times, but let me just go ahead and by the way you one more time. By the lane here. I think people are still probably stuck on the fact that I called Lane the darkness earlier, and that was a joke, just so everyone knows.
Dude, I look like a Black Rider, right? I'm dressed in black.
Dude,
Look.
throw it on. I'm down, by the way.
I can't get over my melon head. My head's almost as big as yours.
Dude, hey, that's no way. Look good, man. You look good. I like it.
Thanks, brother. Thank you. It's kind of cool. It sort of looked like Hellbrand going into Mordor. Like, thanks for setting it up, boys.
Dude, what was his name? What's his name?
Waldreg? Waldreg. Hey, Waldreg, I wanted the volcano over there, you dumb idiot.
Oh, my God.
Bro. Oh, my
God. Dude.
Whatever.
Okay. Well, okay.
Whatever.
Anyways, it was just making a joke there. Let me just recap for everybody. Let me recap. Because folks who might have been following our coverage in season 1, it's like, it started off strong, did it not? We started off like music's great.
Well, and I've heard a lot of people, I mean, I've heard it likened to like some kind of conversion, and I don't know if it is that serious. Like, I think most of it was
baptized mid-season. You guys, he got baptized.
I did. I mean, I was in the waters, boy, and mostly, honestly, dude, I did kind of feel. I've never admitted this before.
Yeah,
I did kind of feel. Like, especially in retrospect, now people are going to be like, oh, dude, walking it back. The guy who's never read letter 1455 is walking it back now. But I did feel some kind of obligation, or like, I'm a hype beast. Yeah. I will say it. I'm a hype beast, especially if it's like my thing. I'm sort of contrarian when it's like someone else. Like, I still haven't seen like most of the HBO shows that have come out recently. I haven't seen The Last of Us or whatever. All these different things. I haven't seen the one with Walton Goggins, whatever it is, because everyone is into it. I didn't know it before, and I'm like, nah, I'm good. But if I discover something on my own and I love it, then I'm like ride or die. I'm kind of like, you know how I am. I'm that way just in a lot of different things. And so I felt like some kind of, maybe obligation is the wrong word, but I felt like this will to be like, dude, no, this is going to be, like they told us. They told us in their when they revealed what the show was going to be about. It started with a map, and all these like literary clues that they're big Tolkien fans. That they are going to honor the work and all. It's going to be awesome. And the first couple episodes, I mean, to be fair, the first 2 episodes dropped on the same night. Like that was they did a similar thing last time. They put 2 episodes out at once.
Right.
Then the 3rd episode happened, and I remember after the 3rd episode being kind of like. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I sort of felt like I don't want to be that guy who's going to sound like I'm listening to all this criticism and just going like, oh yeah. I knew it. I knew that. That was and try to be like some kind of faux expert or something, or faux critic.
Yeah.
And so I did kind of feel like, but eventually it got to the point where I was just like, nothing's happening this season. Like nothing is. I can't fake this anymore. Like nothing. Nothing that I've wanted to happen has happened. Like I wanted to see a Elendil. I wanted to see a Isildur. I wanted to see, Mordor not be created by a dude sticking a sword in the ground and making some kind of hydroponic explosion. I mean, I don't like things. Cheeto dust killing everybody. Like except for Galadriel, who stood in the middle of it. Like all these kind of things where I was just like, it doesn't. Where when you go back and you watch Lord of the Rings and you hear Peter Jackson talk with so much passion, and he made changes. Bro made changes, and he gets the most shit for it with The Hobbit because it was kind of blatant. But he made big time changes with the Lord of the Rings. Like Faramir in the Two Towers is not the same dude we see in the book. Not even close. Like they all made big changes, right? But the way he approached those movies at the very beginning was, we're making a documentary. Like we're gonna be filming. We're trying to recreate something that actually happened. Like this event happened, and we were lucky enough to go to the actual Middle Earth, and we're gonna capture it live. Like that was his whole framework, was we're gonna make this as realistic as possible. And you watch those movies, and even if you have problems with changes he's made, you look at those and you go, you know what? Like Aragorn sometimes in the book seems like not a human. And you watch Viggo Mortensen's performance, and you're like, no, he seems like a dude. Gandalf seems supernatural sometimes, but we know he was in the guise of an old man. You watch those movies and you go, wow, he's like kind of moaning and like seems like he's pretty sore just standing up from the rock. That's pretty realistic. We see like practical things being done, all the stuff they did for the costumes and the sets and doing everything as practically as they could. And it just, you know what I'm saying? Like it had like this feel of reality. Whereas The Hobbit lost a little bit of that, but definitely in the Rings of Power, there was stuff where you're just like, that doesn't even make, like that doesn't, you went from realistic fantasy or like a mythology, a history where you're like, okay, I can kind of see where we came from that to this is just, you're just picking and choosing what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. And that's where I think it kind of, like that slowly started to be more apparent. And I was like, that I can't even, like not even as a just a viewer of a show be like, oh, okay, you know, I buy this. So that was kind of the big thing for me. Yeah, but it was long tangent there. Yes, I started loving the show.
Yeah.
And it just kind of changed. I mean, part of it was just like learning more about what actually happened, what Tolkien wrote, which is a great thing. I think that when shows and movies and stuff drive you to the actual source material, that's what you want, because then you go, oh my gosh, dude, he put so much, like more than I can even understand, and like remember attention and craftsmanship into this story than I could have ever even, realized without this show driving me there, or faster. And so, but and again, there are certain aspects that I love. Like I think the orcs are incredible. Like the way they look, the way they use practical stuff. Some of the characters I find very compelling, but it's one of those things that, it did kind of transform mid-season. So
and I kind of wanted to go over that because that legit was, as I started to learn more about things, and I started thinking more about the, why is it so different? Why does that season 1 feel so different from like the Fellowship of the Ring or the original trilogy and even The Hobbit? It's like you don't really know in that show. It's a guessing game. It's a guessing as to who the Dark One is, who's the dark evil out there, and he's like among us and that sort of stuff. Whereas like no, just when you start in the Shire and they start telling spooky tales and they don't like to talk about this stuff at night, when the fires, even Gandalf is nervous to mention Mordor. Like you don't say that word, dude. It's almost
scary.
Like
even if even if they sorry to interrupt, but like if they didn't know that the ring was the ring, they knew who Sauron was, right? And they knew the dangers that if on the off chance that this ring, so to Erin's point, right? Like she's talking about that journey, that adventure. Yep. They were all united in that. All of the characters we were rooting for, unless you're a fan of the baddies, like they're all like, Sauron bad.
Yep.
In the show, it's like Galadriel's the only one who she's like, it's not a journey, it's like a one woman like mission to get people to believe her, and it's almost like this kind of like vengeance quest, which again we've learned like Tolkien was not a fan of. Like he wasn't a fan of like revenge stories and things like that. So it kind of in a double way kind of takes away from that like advent. But no, I agree with her totally. Like that is something that you fall in love with those stories. And then somehow they make you feel like you're a part of that adventure, right? Like either by reading or watching that, like we're all in. Yeah, I'm part of this. You just can't see me. I'm behind the camera. Like I'm in this quest too, and it feels like things that happen in real life. And
yeah, I think one of the things, and this is just, I don't know. This is just what I think. Looking at season 1, it seemed like there is this idea that we were deceived. Everyone was deceived about the rings, and so there has to be some element of deception. And this is why I'm thinking like season 2 probably feels more like what I would have wanted for season 1, because I really would have liked to seen a really good deception, and I just feel like knowing who Galadriel is, and I know they're trying to like show this arc with Galadriel, but at this time Galadriel knows her stuff. She knows what's up, and I don't feel like she's going to be that deceived out on a boat wanting to make out with this dude. And I tell you right now, the tension, the romantic tension between them was strong. Really, he wanted to make her his queen, right? I mean, that was, and
it was,
Celeborn is where. Celeborn is where. We have no clue.
She thinks he's dead, but she's not too worried about him.
She's whatever. Like, cool.
Never heard from him again.
It just didn't feel. It wasn't believable, I guess, for like what we know of Galadriel and what we know, like the ease at which she was deceived, and they're all deceived. I get that that's what they were trying to do, right? They're trying to say, well, look, I mean, they were all deceived to take these rings, and so he's the ultimate deceiver. But the Anatar guys is really the thing that we want to see, and that's what I
Yes,
feel like
yeah,
we should have
so-
done.
yeah.
So, and they just
Almost like
they
it was
decided to play a guessing
yeah.
game. Even with us,
It was-
even with people who were, it was how do we
Yes.
trick not only the non-show, like the non-book readers, but even the book readers? How do we make even the book readers go, heck, we don't know, we ain't got a clue, guys? That to me is not. We're still on board. We're still going to watch it. You didn't really need to do anything to get us to tune in every week. I feel like there's that TV idea of you have to do something every week to get people to tune back in. Like, no, if the Fellowship of the Ring was divided up into 8 episodes, I would have watched all 8 episodes. I mean, you don't need a cliffhanger. Just tell the story, and I would have, I would have been on board. That is the problem with TV shows sometimes, is that they're trying to build it in that way, and it's not really this one big cohesive story. We have to find a good spot to leave people wanting and begging for more, and it's just
which
hard.
which also leads to episodes that just feel like literally a hallway, like they feel like a corridor from like episode 1 a bunch of stuff happens, and episode 2 is like nothing happens, and then episode 3 a bunch of stuff happens, and like 4 and 5 are just another passage. So it's like both, it does both those things. So it's almost like season 1, to your point, like it was the wrong deception. They went with the wrong deception. Yeah.
Right. It's like it could have been fine if we would have been more authentic to the books. People have been like, hey, that deception happened,
Totally.
and like we're cool with that. Like that's actually like
Yep.
legit. It's we'll get to that good versus evil story, but this is our setup here, and by showing us the prologue, if you will, that does remind everybody, even your non-book readers and people who are newcomers to the series, like this is a big ultimate good versus evil series. And so that was good. That's why I think you and I liked it so much. We're like, oh, okay, yeah, like that's right. I mean, there was a big bad, Dark Lord before, and there's another one coming, and okay, this is set up pretty well. And they took, like you said, I mean, I hate to say this, but it's hard not to see how all the characters in the first season were just turned into dummies. Just everyone's just dummies, and I'm like,
it's like Middle Earth for dummies. Yeah, like Lord of the Rings for dummies is kind of what it felt like. Second Age for dummies, and it was like, again, like we talked about that first, talking about the prologue. I think maybe that's why people were hopeful, is we saw like whispers of Morgoth, like we saw, like we were in the Undying Lands. Like this was stuff that we had never seen before. We saw the 2 trees, like stuff that we had never seen before. Yeah, that was
like the bones are there, man. You've got the bones for a really sick show.
Yes, and instead anyway.
Yeah. It's just to point out that like we don't 1,000% like hate that. It's like, dude, we feel like an opportunity was squandered. It's kind of how I feel like I always say with the Star Wars sequels. I'm like, dude, there's some great freaking characters in that, man, but like you fumbled it pretty bad, and they fumbled it pretty. It's I feel like the first. That first season, like towards the end, starts to kind of fumble. I mean, I got to go.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say this. I think the one thing that also still just gets me is the fact that they went ahead and decided and said, hey, we're going to tell you guys how Mordor was created. No one has ever done that before, but we are going to tell you how the turnkey happened, and we are going to lay it down and make it canon. I mean, and I'm sort of like, dude, what? I mean, it just if it was less just like one turn of a sword and a volcano eruption, I feel like it would have been like, let the darkness spread, dude. Like it started that way. Like you started the creeping, the orcs are moving out, and Adar is doing his thing, and like, all right, just let that mass just keep growing, and it's believable.
Yes.
But this is just not. It's just like that's what happened, and they're like, yep, that's what happened. Trust us. That is what Tolkien. That was his true intention. If Tolkien could have written this story, that's what he would have written.
Exactly. That's the thing that drives me the most nuts, is when they try to say like, oh, it's better than what Tolkien would have, or they assume to know like what Tolkien would have written. Like that's the part where I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
Like who is boosting your guys' ego? Because like, sign me up. Like, are you on some kind of hyper vitamins? Like, what is happening? You're delusional. Like, if you really think that, you're delusional. And you said something I'll never forget when we talked about that episode when Mordor was formed. You were like, Sauron had nothing to do with it. And every time I think about the show, every time I think about Waldreg and the sword, every time I think about the Cheeto dust, I think to myself, he had nothing to do with it. Like they could have even like when he has that conflict with Adar, like there could have been some kind of thing where it was like we were clued in that he was working behind the scenes and Adar was his subservient.
Yeah.
But they never, and it looks like even in this season,
Adar's
in the trailer, we've got, Adar's like, let me handle him. And it's like, gosh, why are we making Sauron the underdog?
Why? That's what, dude, that is. Yep. They want us to care about him.
I wash my hands, Lord. I wash my hands.
Lord, I ain't gonna follow Satan. I'm gonna tell you right now. Listen here. I've been raised upright. I know the devil when I see him. I'm not. Come on now. Jiminy Christmas. I sang I'll Fly Away back in the pew. You know, I am not gonna. But dude, that's the thing. I think they want us to. Galadriel almost fell for him, and they're wanting us to fall for freaking Sauron. And like, I actually feel sorry that Sauron didn't freaking create Mordor. Like, unless they're going to tell us that he actually was simultaneously Waldreg, and he's also simultaneously Adar.
Adar,
at the same time. I mean, who freaking knows? Yeah. Maybe that's their long-term goal. But it just feels like he's so disconnected from it. Like, those two, when you hear about it, like I've always said, when you hear about Mordor, it is just this, like, growing evil. I mean, because really all that actually happens in that is that it's a volcano. And so it's just like
it's a scientific reaction is what it like it's literally
it scorches the earth. Well, if that's the like nothing can grow there and all this kind of stuff, and it's like okay, by the time that Frodo and Sam get there, like the ash have moved on.
It should be fine.
Right? I mean, like otherwise we would still be like, you know, I mean, if science is going to rule out here, you know what I'm saying? Like
so funny.
It's not going to just centrally be like all right, guys, we're up in the sky and it just stayed right here. For some reason, Sauron used magic and he kept it all contained here. The winds will blow that, and Valinor will say,
I never thought of that
coming over this way. I don't think so. I mean,
it would literally be like going to Mount St. Helens now and being like, well, you can't still go there. You can't still go.
Yeah, dude, at Mount St. Helens, it's dark Mordor. You can never go there, man.
There's a Dark Lord there. Yeah. God, so no, I hadn't even like walked that out all the way fully. That's another incredible
it's just
point.
Hard to believe.
And the other thing too, and the other thing too is like it's almost like in the way that Lorien is like a personification or like an extension of the elves, an extension of Galadriel. Like, and the Shire is a personification, an extension of the hobbits. Mordor was Tolkien did a great job of that. Like these people and these places reflected each other, or they mimicked each other, or they were representations for each other, whatever. And that's what Mordor was. It was like literally like if you made Sauron, this Dark Lord, into a landscape, right? It's almost like he poisoned what they're trying to show happening in Lindon. In the with the trees and everything is what should have happened. And again, it's just like, well, we're going to put it over here. Well, you know it goes on that shelf. Well, nah, I think we're going to take it from this shelf and put it over there. Oh, well, you know Tom Bombadil's in the Old Forest. And he doesn't really leave very often. Well, nah, I think he's got a cottage out east. Yeah. Right. Nah, he's got an eastern cottage. We're going to put him out there. Well, where's Goldberry? We're going to make her a dude. It's okay. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Dude. Are they?
It's going to be Dudeberry, okay? Don't worry about it.
I
don't know, dude. Who
knows?
At
that point, I'll tell you right now, people will, I mean, that, man, I will wear double camo from there on out. I will fully be baptized in the old country style.
Again, it's literally like just switching shelves that don't need switched, like or switching order that doesn't need just for, and if there was a good reason for it, again, like you can almost kind of go back and look at the Faramir stuff and be like, okay, they needed some kind of conflict. Faramir is Boromir's brother. Okay, there's ways you can rationalize it and go, okay, I don't like the changes. It's different from what Tolkien wrote. Tolkien would hate it. But in a film universe with limited time, and at that point too, like you think about when they made those trilogies, like, or that trilogy, it was like 3 films at once, which is insane. That had never happened before.
Yeah.
And it was before the advent of like long form television shows. Because I'm convinced, like, if they had never made Lord of the Rings as movies, a trilogy, we would have it now as like a mini series on HBO. 100%. It would be. So, you know, with that time restriction, okay, yeah, you make Faramir a bad guy for a few minutes. He has this great arc. He's repentance, and then he becomes the Faramir we know and love. Versus just like, like what we just described, stuff that there are changes that don't necessarily need to be made.
Yeah,
kind of weird.
Yeah.
So
no, I'm with you. It's like it's sort of strange. And see, that's just to remind folks like that. I mean, I actually am very hopeful for season 2, and I think season 2 is going to improve upon things. They even said that they're going to lean more into the actual lore. It's kind of what they said, but
that's what they said.
I'm going to be really interested to see how they do that. I got to say, even Nerd of the Rings, who is a huge YouTuber, he's super upset that they created the rings out of order, right? And like is trying to rationalize like how and why they did those different things and what really went down. So as I pull up the trailer here, I just want to remind folks a couple things for the season finale from just season 1, just as a reminder, as a refresher. So Halbrand's true identity. Galadriel confronts Halbrand about his identity after learning that the last man to wear his crest died over 1,000 years ago, right? Halbrand reveals that he is actually Sauron in disguise. Sauron then traps Galadriel in a mind prison and tries to drown her, okay? But and he then escapes.
I didn't catch that. I didn't even realize that. Did you?
No, I like literally. I have to go back and again myself like I started the other day with Lottie, just going back and trying to rewatch it again and getting to that point so I can remember what happened at the end because I hate to say this, but as honestly Lord of the Rings fans and people who are super into it, like you said, there's not a whole lot of desire to go back because your big trick there was who is Sauron. All right.
Yeah, the whole season revolved around it.
The rewatchability on that is just not very high. Got it. Okay, Sauron. Like, I think you go back and like, we can find all the different clues that maybe indicate that he is Sauron, but like the trick is up. I mean, the reason you can rewatch Lord of the Rings and Star Wars and other things is because it's the mythology. It's the hero journey.
Characters, right? And characterization and like character development. Like you fall in love with certain people. Yeah.
Now maybe by the time all these seasons are out, like that all fits in a big hero journey, but it's just so hard when you have one season and you have to come out and get people hooked in, and I just didn't think it was the right hook, but that's our own personal take on it. The other thing, so just to recap here before I pull up the trailer, the Rings of Power, right? So the elves try to figure out how to use the last of their mithril to save their people. Sauron convinces them to turn the ore into 2 rings, the first Rings of Power. However, after learning Sauron's identity, Galadriel asks them to make 3 rings of power instead. While the rings are being crafted, Elrond discovers a scroll about the long-dead line of the Southland Kings, likely realizing Halbrand's true identity. I don't even know how that would give him the identity, but I don't remember. I got to go back and watch it again. I'm just giving you guys what the internet says here, okay? This is our reminder.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
The Stranger's Journey. Okay, so the Stranger's Journey, who fell from the sky at the beginning of the season, he returns to his constellation using a map given to him by Sadak, right? Yeah. And then he then sets off on a journey with a Harfoot named Nori, and they go to Rune. And he's going to go there. It's an unexplored region in Tolkien's adaptation, and so we're off and running. Now, I give you all of that, and then we will bring up the trailer and kind of just we'll play it. And then Lane and I will kind of react to it and discuss it and break it down. And then next episode, if I can keep Lane on here long enough, I actually have an interview.
Yeah, baby, I'm down.
An IGN interview, so we'll do this separate, where the showrunners give us tidbits. They tell us kind of how the season's going to open up, and they've got a few things to say. So yeah, that will be. Cool. I'm going to read it to Lane, and he's not seen it.
Can't wait for it.
Yeah,
I think I'm booked. I think I'm double booked.
Yeah, Lane's like, sorry about that.
I'm joking. Okay, I'm excited. I'm pumped.
Yeah. Let me pull this up here, and I'm, it's like, dude, like I said, I really was, when I first saw it, I was like, wow, there is just a lot, like you said, a lot more kind of going on, and you feel pretty good about just the energy, I guess, that the trailer has, if that makes sense. Yeah. So it has good energy. Yeah. And, so let me pause it here, and I'm going to, I don't know, Lane, if you'll be able to hear it, so I'm just going to go ahead and play it, and we'll just, I know you've already seen it, so we'll just play this
kind of remind me what's going on. Yeah.
So here we go.
He seeks to rule it not only through conquest, but by bending the minds of all its peoples to his own. And for that he needs not armies.
No!
But rings.
In choosing to wear those rings, you have all become his collaborators.
I know you believe this ring is deceiving me, but I believe it is guiding me.
All this may be by his design.
These rings may be how he attains power.
They must be destroyed.
We will discuss the rings once you have answered the question. Who is this man?
He is no man. He deceived me. He is Sauron.
What am I to call you? Sharer of gifts. Our work begins now.
I have walked across mountains and deserts to help my friend find his destiny. One the fate of the world may depend on.
Is it my task to stop the fire? Is it my task to face Sauron? To try and cheat death might lead to an even greater catastrophe.
Father, take off the ring.
Let's go, baby.
I'm afraid. Every soul in Middle-earth is in peril. Will you abandon them to their doom? No, what have you done to me?
To me.
Promise me, Howard. You will not stop until he is destroyed.
Forgiveness takes an age. I need your axe, old friend.
Fight with me. Fight with our friends!
When the darkness falls, there are always some who rise forth and shine. You will give me the nine.
Hold up, me!
Yeah, baby. The
Again, they're
rings
just
of power.
they're really deciding to shit on my birthday, like right before.
Oh yeah, they
just every time it's be like, hey, when's Lane's birthday? The 31st of August.
right.
Let's do it right before. Just
yeah,
to kind
we're
of
putting this out. Just that we know this guy loves it, and we know this is his
wanted
birthday
it.
present.
he wanted an important Tolkien date on his birthday. The rest of his family has one.
Right.
Let's give him this. Let's
Lane gets
gift
rings
this
of
to
power.
him. It comes prime delivery. It's here in 2 days. It's
Dude.
yours, buddy. It's free.
It's crazy.
All right.
So,
You want to unpack
29
this bad boy?
Yeah, I'll just do a click through. You know, I got it up on the screen now, and I just for friends to kind of we'll just look through it again here. So here it's like to start this whole bad thing, you've got that's Hallbrand, right?
Yeah.
He's walking in here, and I did watch a couple breakdowns just from other people. 'Cause I was like, what is going on here? You know, so I want to give some of those other YouTubers credit. They've all broke, but you know. Go check them out for your official breakdown. This is going to be the Hobbit breakdown, all right? This is not going to be...
The fun one. This is the fun one.
This is a fun one,
yeah.
okay?
This is the fun one.
Let the rings hit the floor, baby. All right?
Yeah. Let the rings hit the floor.
They literally bounce right off the floor. And
they really do.
You know,
look like they're made of plastic,
How
honestly.
did they not crack?
I don't know. Well, they're made of mithril.
Okay.
That's
good
got to
call.
be it.
Good call.
That's got to.
By
Yep.
the way, what was one of my other big things, which was sort of like,
Yeah.
you know, you feel like when you read about Celebrimbor, and I know I might have been wrong about this, but you just always felt like he had, you know, even if he's deceived, that he did something in the end and helped forge these rings away
Yes.
from
Yeah.
Sauron without his. And they
Yeah.
really said, actually, that had nothing to do with Celebrimbor. Galadriel said Form 3.
Yeah.
She
yeah.
said Form 3.
Again,
It's
just
like-
really kind of cutting his legs out from underneath of him, which I guess is kind of fitting. But like, yeah, so that was one of the issues, right? Was the whole like out of order, the 3 rings, the 3 elven rings, which were the last 3, correct?
Yeah.
To be created, and now they're the first 3 before any of the others, and they were free because they weren't directed by Sauron, but they were tied to his ring's fate because they used the same methods that Annatar had taught Celebrimbor, right? But it was, like you said, it was kind of his redemptive act of like making something powerful to help empower the elves to defeat Sauron in the long run.
Yeah, and it was
Right.
just the fact that they were not. He had no really
Direct influence.
direct influence on them
Yeah.
and stuff, and it
Yeah.
honestly felt the complete opposite in season 1. It felt like
It
he
did.
had direct influence, and like the idea is that when you make those rings first, and they're the first ones as a result of what Halbrand says, it seems like there's a direct correlation to what he said and what you made.
Right.
Now, whether he's
Right.
actually there corrupting them or not, okay,
Yeah.
sure. But, and I get that's sort of the idea. Well, it wasn't really in the room, okay? They did it without him. That's why they're good. Okay.
They didn't
But
get the I didn't get the invite, you know. I missed
Yeah.
that on my calendar. Yeah.
It's like, so, you know, now what we have is he's coming back in as Annatar, although we see him here,
Yeah.
which is interesting. Why are they showing us
again.
Halbrand here? And what I've heard is that this guard, I'll show you this guard here. I just saw a breakdown. Let's see, where's he at? There's a guard.
It looks like
right
he's coming back to
his-
Linden, right? Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Is it? Somebody said it could be another, like, elvish realm or
place?
something. Like it
Okay.
could be. Don't really know.
Okay.
Where's?
Yeah.
Can't
Yeah.
even see it. But anyways, there was a guard standing there with a helmet, and you know, it's sort of like maybe he was going somewhere else to deceive someone, but
Somebody else.
I don't
Okay.
really know. He's kind of riding in here. He looks
Yeah.
pretty rough. There he was. Yeah.
Yeah, there's that guard. Yeah, I saw him.
Yeah, right there at
briefly.
the end. Who looks at him?
Yeah.
And so looking at his
he
helm,
looks
people
elven.
were
Yeah,
trying to
Or-
figure
yeah,
out
man.
where this
Yeah.
is necessarily.
where he's from. So this is kind of like the first few shots is this dialogue that's voiceovered that I thought was interesting. I wanted to get. I honestly thought of your reaction right away. So we've talked about, again, like taking something that's just fine on this shelf and putting it over there just because, you know, I can, not because it makes any sense. And I was thinking about like this whole opening dialogue where Galadriel's like in love with her ring, and you've got Elrond saying like, well, you know, you could be deceived by this ring. Like you might be serving him unknowingly, which again is the exact opposite of the purpose of these rings, right? It's something that you would say to someone like a dwarf, or to say to a man, one of the other ring holders possibly, or ring bearers, obviously, possessors. And it's just like, again, it seemed like something to me where I'm like, this is not maybe, it's an interesting angle they're taking with the elven rings, I would say, to make it almost seem like because they have them, they're like they've opened themselves to being controlled or possessed by Sauron. Mm-hmm. When that's what the whole reason of them created was to avoid that, was to escape that, was to like find a loophole.
Right,
to,
isn't that
you know,
why
so I
they
thought
created, why Galadriel
Exactly.
in season 1 is like, look, create 3 instead, right? Because there's this
Right.
balance of power, and, you know,
but it seems like it could be
our democracy has 3 branches of government.
Yeah,
Checks and
that's
balances,
right.
people. Okay.
legislative, possessive,
Executor,
and predicate.
And,
all
and
them.
prejudiced.
But by the time we're done, there's only going to be 2. But the only thing that it seems like this could be a full, like from this, it could be a one scene resolution, right? You could have this resolved in one scene, but it feels like one of those things, knowing season 1, that it's like, God, they're going to make this drag out for 8 episodes. This whole like back and forth between Galadriel, and instead of the rift now being between Galadriel and Gil-galad, it's going to be Galadriel and Elrond. and it's going to be over like the possession and use of these rings, and it's just going to be like, oh my gosh, really?
Yeah,
that's where
again,
it feels unnecessary. Yeah.
Yeah, Gilgalad, I don't see him at all in any of this, right? He's there for
Yeah.
maybe 1 or 2 conversations and like,
Yeah.
peace out.
Who is this man? Yeah, right.
Yeah, so, yeah, who's this face? He, honestly, the guy who knows nothing in this whole show is
Gilgalad.
He doesn't know anything.
Again,
I mean, he's just in the... Galadriel knows everything. Elrond knows more than he does, and it just makes him look weak.
Gilgalad and Isildur on like a trivia show would be hilarious. He'd be like, "Who is the Dark Lord?" Do you know this one?
Yes.
I'm not sure.
Phone a friend.
Is it me? Is it me? Is it you? Yeah. Can I call Galadriel for a minute? I think she knows.
Yeah. She's the only one who knows.
She's the only one who believes. Yeah.
Crazy. So yeah.
So interesting. Yeah.
Yep. And it's just like, he's here. He's coming in. Looks like he still got soot on him from Mordor or something, or maybe he was in a forge.
Yeah.
We're not really sure.
Yeah.
We see the rings falling. Now, who was carrying these rings on the plush pillow and dropped them?
And why do only 2 fall? Yes, and why do only 2 fall? We've got
why do only 2 fall?
We've got Elrond's, and we've got is this Círdan? Does Círdan like trip up and go, "Oh, sorry, I haven't got my sea legs back." Dang, brother, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. Yeah, interesting that those 2 fall and we don't see Círdan's. So
like, why aren't they on people's fingers? Yeah. Didn't they put them on at the end of the season?
Yeah, they do. And so
why are they on a freaking?
Well, and so the interesting thing is it heals their kingdom. They use it to heal Lindon. That's what the trees. It looks like that in the trailer they do that. But at some point you will have the one ring made, right? And it will. That's the great deception.
Hopefully.
Even though they're already kind of on to this idea. It's kind of weird, right? That they already know this is Sauron, but we're gonna wear him anyway. You know what I mean? Like, okay, don't worry. We're like, before they're deceived and these gifts like heal their realm and all is well and everything, but later on they find out like, oh, there's a one ring that as soon as he creates the one ring, right, in Mount Doom, they are aware. The elves are aware, like, oh crap, and they take them off and they hide them, right? They hide their rings, and then after Sauron is defeated in the Third Age, they will put them back on. And that's sort of the idea, right? So in the Second Age, it's like there's a window where they would wear them initially, but
I got you.
It's just odd that they know right now that is Sauron. And
do they know? Because like the only ones from this trailer anyway that is Galadriel, and it seems like Elrond definitely believed her because he's the one who's trying to say, well, now you're influenced by Sauron, take it off. But, like, we don't know if Gilgalad will. We don't know.
Is she gonna lie to him?
I mean, right? Well, and she's been trying to tell him, like, and she said this is Sauron in this trailer, but we don't know what his reaction is going to be. Is he going to continue being like dumb when this is, again, like from Tolkien's lore, this is one of the only dudes, one of 4 maybe, who could sniff out that this was Sauron. I thought this was interesting, dude. I think we're supposed to think this is Sauron's helm, but I think this is the Witch King's helmet, and I have a theory.
Really?
I think they're going to try and make Adar the Witch King.
Really?
I don't know why. It's a cheap one, but I just think like they're bringing this to him. They found it. It looks like the Witch King's helm that he wears like over his cloak. What's happening with Adar? Could he be? I mean, is he a sorcerer? I don't know. Like, he's the father of the orcs, or the orcs call him father anyway.
Right.
He's not going to go away. Clearly, seems like he's going to be around. Sauron's going to have to like maybe barter with him, be like, hey, give me Mordor, and I'll make you my number 2. Or I don't know. Like, it seems like that's where the logic is going. Like, and then we see him stab this crown into somebody later on in the trailer. And I was thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, are they trying to make us think anyway that he's going to be like, he'll be the Witch King? Because we don't know much about those 9, right? We know that they were rulers and kings and sorcerers, but we don't know. Tolkien never really kind of elaborated on where they were from, I think that some of them have names, but not all of them have names. And so it's very like a lot of white spaces in the origins of the ring wraiths. So
that's interesting, because I thought it was kind of odd that, we'll get to that in a second. Well, maybe I'll just go ahead and find it. We'll jump around here because I want to talk about these parts, because it's like when he does stab this into whoever that is,
dude.
It's like a betrayal. It's like you're crowning someone, but then there's this betrayal, as if you're just gonna stab it into that person. And Adar is definitely trying to take some sort of. If that's Sauron, that's weird, right? I mean, that's weird that he would be trying to.
Yeah.
Is he in opposition to Sauron?
I don't know, dude. And I mean, it looked. I couldn't even tell who it was. It definitely. He definitely has the spikes. It spikes down, right? Leave Sauron to me. Yeah.
Leave Sauron to me, and then boom. Then you see this shot where he's crowning, if you will, and he's jabbing these spikes in someone's back. And it looks like he's basically killing somebody. Now, what I was thinking is, people have, and I've seen people online talking about this idea that Sauron could. It's possible that he could lose his, physical form and then retake form again before. We know that after he creates the One Ring, that that's sort of the thing that happens with his physical ability to take physical form. It sort of dissipates and he becomes more than there's he transcends, or if you will.
Yes,
so in this, it's
like
before he's done that, maybe he is able to
body hop.
Come again,
like
or
demon.
Or like they think he's dead, like they think he's killed again. Like you said, he's an underdog.
Okay.
Watch out! It's like Sauron versus everybody here. Okay, Sauron versus the world.
The Middle Earth. Yeah.
Holy
so
smokes!
silly.
He's gonna 1-on-5. But it's like MJ versus the. I mean, it's weird.
Yeah, he's the Browns. He's the Cleveland Browns. Yeah. Yeah.
So anyways, that was definitely a weird moment. Let's go back here to the beginning, look at some things. Oh, yeah, so just in terms of the rings are bouncing down the stairs here. Interesting. Then you get D3. He's got his big ring and his big axe there. So he definitely has a ring.
Who's this? Yeah, is this ring from Halbrand? Like, I'm assuming? Or Sauron?
I think,
one of the Dwarven rings?
From what I've read, too, right, what we know is that the dwarves weren't really corrupt. That basically they're too stubborn. They just became more greedy, right? He didn't actually have true dominance over them because they were just their nature and how they were created, and something he didn't really understand. But I've somewhere, and I could be wrong. This was another lore channel who was breaking this down. I cannot remember their name. It was a smaller channel, but they were talking about the idea that maybe he has a ring that. How did they put that? That there was a ring that wasn't necessarily. And if you guys know, by the way, feel free to write in, comment, whatever, let us know.
Yeah,
on Instagram or whatever. But like as if his ring wasn't as corrupted, like that maybe Elrond and those guys tried to send him a ring of power to help with the Balrog or something. And I
guess this is my question too. Could they do this thing where so I don't. Again, this is gonna make me sound like a phony. I don't remember all the. Again, I'm gonna a little aside here. All this Tolkien stuff, like,
oh, dude,
to be an expert on it, you just have to have memory and time. That's like literally, unless you're like someone who actually knew Tolkien. Like those are the actual Tolkien experts, like freaking Tom Shippey and Humphrey Carpenter and his son, like those and family. Those people are the ones. C.S. Lewis, like those are the dudes, and most of them are gone. Are the ones who are actual Tolkien experts. Everyone else just literally looks up stuff, and like if you do analysis, that's something else too. You have to have a broader knowledge of like Norse mythology and like the history of Britain and all this stuff. But like it's just literally looking shit up and remembering it and having like a savant level memory, which I do not have. So I don't remember much about the ring lore because, again, it's not like my favorite thing to think about. It kind of freaks me out. I'm a hobbit that way. But like, were all of the rings made, like the dwarven rings, the 7 and the 9 from the men, were they all made by Anatar with Celebrimbor? Is that the implication? Was that directly said that they were all crafted together? Because my thing is like, so if Durin has a ring here, is it possible that he could have had it before even season 1, or like in between season 1 and season 2, and like we're catching up to it? It's like, oh, these rings have been passed out already to maybe help like speed the story along. Is that possible? You think?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, it's so. Yeah, dude, I didn't even know this until, like, again, like you said, you have to look all this stuff up because I have no freaking clue.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Like, I always thought that Sauron gave all of the Dwarf Kings these rings.
Yeah.
right?
He personally went and like either disguised himself and said, "Hey, here's a little gift for you," because he's the giver of gifts, or he like had them sent to them or something and local gift wrapped. I don't know. Like, he doesn't. Does Tolkien describe how the giving was happened, or is it just that he gave to these 7 dwarven lords these rings, and he gave to these men these? Like, we don't know exactly, right?
Right. No, and so you have like on Tolkien Gateway, they've got a couple different things where they kind of talk about, and let's see, Silmarillion, of the Rings of Power, the Third Age, blah blah blah. Let's see. Yeah. There's a lot of blah blah blah. And they made the Rings of Power. Now the elves made many rings, but secretly Sauron made one ring to rule all others, and their power was bound up with it to be subject wholly to it and to last only so long as it should last. Okay, whatever. Here it is. The 20 rings. Okay, so the 20 rings, the 16 rings of power forged under Anatar's guidance. So 16 were forged under his guidance.
There you go.
Sauron gave he gave this is what the Gateway says, which I've always thought they're pretty accurate.
It's abbreviated. Gateway's abbreviated though too.
It's abbreviated,
Yes, yeah.
Right. But the idea here is that Sauron gave 6 rings to the Dwarf Kings, although according to Dwarvish tradition, the elves already gave another to D3 during the third.
Oh, okay.
The dwarves
so that's what this ring is.
I guess. That's what these guys were trying to deep cut.
That's cool.
Which is cool.
Well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
That's one of those things that like you're looking for. This is where I think when they said, "Hey, we're trying to embrace more of that lore and get this right." The trailer, from what I've we talked a whole about like season 1. You heard how we felt about it, but season 2, I'm hopeful because I hope they get some of this crap right. I hope some of this stuff is like, I hope when we go check, you know what I mean? Anybody who's watching and they go look, it's like, oh, dude, heck yeah, that's freaking sick. Or especially if it's good TV and it matches lore, heck. I mean, why would that work? Because, well, the lore, I mean, it's a successful book. Why are you making this TV series? Because Tolkien had a masterpiece, right? And so you kind of want to pay homage to...
pay homage. Yeah,
right, yeah,
100%.
So, anyways, that's what it says. Let's see. The dwarves used their 7 rings to establish their treasure hoards, but Sauron was unable to force the dwarven bearers to submit. It's believed that the dwarves' nature of hardiness and the fact that it was only the more powerful dwarf lords who possessed them that made them resistant to Sauron's control, yet allowed them to accumulate treasure and stuff. So the final ring to leave the possession of the dwarves occurred when Thrain was captured. So that's when it sort of, was taken back and stuff. So, let me just go on real quick just to finish this because I got it up here. The remaining 9 rings were divided among those evil-hearted men who saw their abilities increase and became sorcerers and kings among men. They gained longevity, but they then faded away and became the Nazgul, the ring wraiths, dominated by Sauron's will.
So they weren't necessarily kings already, maybe. I mean, well, we know the Witch King was like a sorcerer, so maybe it is a Dard. Like maybe one of them is,
Yeah. I mean, definitely there's room for there's like enough white space, as you say, to maybe they're going to do something cool. Because what is his point? What is the point of a Dard?
We're trying to figure. Does he have pointy ears? I'm just thinking of that right now.
He does. I think he does. Let me go look. I think he does.
Yes, he does. So he is an elf.
So maybe not. Yeah, because I remember people were trying to think he was like some dark elf from the First Age and stuff.
Right.
And they're like, no, he's just
the guy's name.
He's a brand new. He's a brand new character. He's just somebody that they created to be, to make Sauron the underdog. I don't know. Well, I'm really mystified as to what his role is going to be and who he actually is or what the deal is with him. But last 2 things here, just the 3 rings of the elves were forged by Celebrimbor alone, and they were never touched by Sauron. They were made last.
Yes.
However, and their forging involved some of the arts taught by Anatar. So some of the arts that were taught to Celebrimbor were used in the forging. Thus, they too were bound to the one ring to some extent.
Fate. Yeah.
And it goes on to name them Ring of Fire, Ring of Water, Ring of Air. The one ring secretly forged by Sauron in the heart of Mount Doom was the heart of Mount Waldreg. Had the power to dominate the 16 rings owned by the dwarves and men. His domain His domain over the rings was incomplete, but he placed a large amount of his power into it at its forging, a necessity that later led to his downfall at Frodo Baggins' hand, baby. All right.
Yeah, and
Nine
thank you,
finger.
Gollum, for the assist. Do you think, for nine finger, don't you think maybe we should get, I just had another t-shirt idea, maybe like just the skyline of Mordor and just like Wally World underneath?
Holy God. Yes.
It's his place, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, Waldreg. Yeah, it's your place.
Thank you, Waldreg, for the creation. Yeah. Mordor has a creation story, and it's the father of that creation was Waldreg. Just so you guys know. And it didn't.
So
it took him a bit more than, 7 days, but
yeah,
or maybe it took him 1 day, right?
7 seconds. Yeah, pretty much.
7 seconds. 7 seconds.
There it is, baby.
Oh, jeez. Okay, going back to our trailer here, let's sort of continue on here. Some other points. Yeah, you get Elrond. No, don't put the ring on. Oh God, no,
Mr. Frodo. I mean, no, it's not.
It's like, jeezy cow. So you do have a shot here where they're putting the rings together to heal the tree, and you can see the tree now looks pretty good.
Oh, that's what they're doing. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So,
God,
but back
I
here,
still
it looks really
what is
dark.
that based on? As is that like some kind of is that like go green, like recycle? Is that what that is, or is that actually like a Tolkien thing? Like,
I don't know.
I mean, I know that the whole like
it always seemed less like they've sort of made it more concrete. Like there's this actual light fading
physical.
and actual dying, and they're really it's like manifesting in the tree and in the actual nature around them, which is so weird. Like we said with Mordor, that was sort of like what we expected. What we're seeing there is what we expected when Sauron moves in. Sauron moves in, darkness is spreading. Like it's weird that their light is fading this fast, and that it's this big of an issue. And actually, the fading starts before they ever get any of Sauron's influence, really. So I don't get it.
Maybe
so
for my 40th,
to me, that'd be great.
Maybe for my 40th, I'd really like to go out to Mount St. Helens. I've always wanted to see her. Honey, you know what happened there. That darkness has not cleared, and it never, ever will. We're not going to Mount St. Helens. Please, honey, come on. I just want to go see the darkness. Please, God.
Please, Lord.
So they're riding some more. Now, is this...
Yeah,
are we in Middle Earth, or is this Numenor?
Where are they
here?
going?
Bunch of mountains.
There's this whole journey that it looks like Elrond and Galadriel take. She says, "I know you believe this ring is deceiving me," but she says, "I believe it's guiding me." And you get this cool shot where they're going on an adventure. So back to Aaron's point, you might get this adventure kind of story. But I don't think. Here's the problem. I think there's too many stories. You see, the brilliance of like The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings was you were following the Fellowship, and you were following. I know it splits.
The company. Yeah, and the company and the Hobbit.
You still only had 3 different stories to follow. Season 1, we were bouncing all over. I have,
Yes.
It was crazy. So it's hard. It's hard to do. I think hard to sell.
You got whiplash from trying to. Here's my other question too. Like I know I'm skipping ahead here, but the whole like Galadriel touching the cheek of Elrond, like I was thinking it, and then I showed Sarah the trailer, and she goes, "Why are they trying to make Galadriel come on to Elrond? Isn't that like, aren't they like related?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, it's like his mother-in-law." So like what I mean again, like so we're going from trying to bed Sauron to trying to bag Elrond. Like what is the deal, dude?
Yeah.
I mean it could be like just a familial touch, like
I know,
my
yeah,
kin.
yeah.
You are my you someday will marry my daughter who I don't even know if she's here yet because I don't know where my husband is. But
here's
let me
the thing.
touch your cheek in a gentle, sensual way, baby.
After season 1, it's hard not to think about these types of things.
It's all fair game. Exactly. She's I don't want to call her a cougar because I don't know how old she is, but is Galadriel a cougar? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Did she go to the Naz? If she went to the Naz, then she's a cougar. You know what I'm saying? But maybe. Who knows?
She definitely is.
That's the water ring going into the water, obviously.
Right.
Touching the fish.
Círdan, right? That's Círdan. Isn't that
yes.
Círdan? It's red. This is the.
Oh yeah.
Red.
So is that that's the fire? Is that fire?
I think it's red. I think that's the red one.
Shoot. And that's the one that passes to Gandalf. Gandalf wears that someday.
Right.
Círdan
but the weird thing
passes
is,
to Gandalf.
like you said, he's putting it into the water.
Right. Well, maybe he's cooling it off. It's too hot. I don't know. I don't know.
Or he's was he healing something? I don't really know.
Yeah, the fish. There's a goldfish who's sick, and he's like, "Come on, don't float, buddy. Like you got it." It's Nemo, I think. I don't know. It's a beautiful shot though. I mean, it's very pretty.
Yeah. It looks really cool, and it seems
nice coral.
Like, yeah. So that's Narya, right? Narya is the ring of fire, right?
Okay.
And
Yes.
Nenya is the ring of water, and
Nenya business, Vilya or whatever.
Yeah, Vilya, the ring of air, right?
Yeah.
So
I feel you, baby. I feel you. Come on now.
I feel you, baby. I feel you. Yeah. So, anyways, that is interesting. I mean, he is by the Grey Havens, so it's like shoreline stuff. Maybe, who knows?
Oh yeah, good point. I didn't think about that. Yeah. I don't know.
Could be some connection to that. Some people were speculating the shot where you see a big explosion is actually
What's going on there?
Like that's possibly when Adar stabs the crown into whoever that was. So
oh boy,
that's why people are saying that maybe Sauron explodes and like takes new form or something. And
interesting.
it's
Okay,
almost like he has to, which is weird. Almost like he has to prove himself, and they're like, oh, like it's like the Ewoks. All of a sudden, they're like, like now they believe,
dude,
like okay,
you can't kill me. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Maybe. Sure. Okay.
Maybe I don't.
I
don't know. Just straight speculation.
Yeah.
And that you have Elrond here saying that the rings must be destroyed, and Gil-galad's like, we'll discuss these rings once we have answered the question, which is, who is this man? And I'm sorry, you do get kind of a cringy delivery here. He's no man, right? And people were talking about how this really,
it's kind of overacted a little bit. Feels like.
Yeah, it's it is what it is. But it's also
they're the elves, so
like Eowyn's sort of I am no man.
Oh
situation.
gosh, yeah, like a recycling of lines. Yeah, which you know what? I honestly didn't even think about that. I didn't even make that connection. So
yeah, it's like okay, he's technically not. So I mean, I don't know.
Well, yeah, and maybe that's the whole thing is like he paraded as a man. Like he was supposed to be just Halbrand from the Southlands. Right. That rhymes. I just realized that. So one of the interesting, this is jarring. I don't know why, and it has nothing. It's not a good takeaway at all. But like, I'm just realizing how extra the ears on the elves are. Dude, did you see that shot of Gil-galad? I don't know if it's because like they have their hair cut up higher on the sides, but damn, those ears, bro, they look like wangs.
Yep.
They are just extra. That would be a crazy prosthetic to wear. Like those are just massive ears. It's like as the power of the elves shrink, so do their ear size. I don't know, something like that. Our ears diminished in the years following.
I mean, you know, he is the High King, so like,
dude, he's selected by his ears. Yeah.
Now this is the shot I was talking about. Look at Celebrimbor here.
Yeah,
welcoming in Halbrand.
Yes.
Why would he do that?
I don't know.
And that's what makes me kind of go like, okay, I guess Galadriel. And I had to go back and refresh my memory on this. See, like, not even just the Tolkien lore and the rings and all that kind of stuff. I have to remember from first
show
season.
canon. Yeah, right.
Show canon. Did they tell Celebrimbor about this? I don't think they did.
I think she only told Elrond. I think she only right.
Yeah. So he's kind of. Yeah. There's a shot later of Celebrimbor where I think he's ticked that either one, Anatar has made him into, has used him and he realizes he's been used, or he's been shut down by the High King and he's not allowed to make rings anymore. And he's not allowed to make...
He got defunded? Oh my gosh.
He got defunded, dude. And so, again, bringing back the politics here, there was no vote, okay? This was just straight one man. This is... This is a monarchy, and I'm out. I'm against that. I don't know what they're trying to sell here at Rings of Power.
Yeah.
Gil-galad can just make all these uninformed decisions.
Yeah, unilateral decisions. Come on, jeez, Gil-galad.
Right,
wow.
right.
Let the man cook. Yeah.
Yeah, come on. But
or the elf.
Anyway, it's weird. It's weird that he invites him back in there, and it makes him look bad.
Yeah.
It really makes him look bad. And
is this when he's like? Yeah, is this when he has like the handcuffs on or whatever, and he's like kneeling almost?
Yeah, he was kneeling there,
and
then you get who is this man? Line here. He's no man, and then we'll see later on. This is the Avengers shot we're showing on the screen here. We've got the Avengers shot with the Barrow Wights, right?
With the Barrow Wights, yeah. Which I don't know if that lines up either, but okay.
So
he deceived me.
They look cool. I mean, we'll see what they look like and stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
But
so we're gonna get
shot.
Wait, he deceived me. Who
here?
said? Oh, that's Galadriel saying that. Yeah. The explosion of the fire, and then out he walks.
Right.
Wouldn't you also kind of be asking questions like, "Dude, did you just pass through fire? Like, what's happening here?" Like, again, Celebrimbor, not a whole lot of any kind of sense. It looks like Meshach, and Abednego walking out of the freaking flames. Jeez, Shadrach. Sorry, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in one person.
Holy smokes, man!
The Lord was with me. Yeah,
the Lord was
what
with
the
me.
heck?
Clearly, he's blessed, and so he can walk through.
What
fire.
am I to call you, dude? He looks okay. Is Celebrimbor the butler of all Middle Earth? Like, jeez. What should I call you?
It really is hard to. They make him out to be this nerdy kind of. I study these different things, and it's just hard to imagine him in a forge.
Yeah.
Oh,
dude, his hands ain't getting dirty. Well, I mean, we see it, and it doesn't even look believable. Actually, it looks better when we actually see him like toss those rings into the fire, and he's like all kind of like, like, looks like he's actually been working in a forge or whatever. And it's very interesting.
Some of the art, there's a lot of art out there, fan art of Celebrimbor that looks awesome.
Oh yeah.
He's got.
Do you remember the?
Biceps,
yeah, do you remember the game?
Got them dealt action going. He's hammering down. Just
It's what you were dreaming of when you envisioned him as Celebrimbor. Do you remember the game Shadow of Mordor? Celebrimbor is like one of the main characters, and he's not anything like the accountant or the cosplay Martin Freeman we're seeing before us.
Right.
It literally is like it's like if Bilbo dressed up like as an elf for Halloween. Is what Celebrimbor looks like.
And this actor could have done the other version. See, that's the thing.
Yes, he could have.
The direction.
Yes, he could have.
He totally could have sold that Hardy kind of just in there working away, coming out like dusting off his hands and rolling his sleeves down from having just done some work, and it just looks like he's never even. Never sniffed the forge before, It's just,
I'm also gonna say, yes, it does look like his nose has never been dirty. It kind of looks to me like the more it's gone on, like if all the elves had short hair, I think it would be more okay. Mm-hmm. If they all had long hair, it'd be okay. But the fact that some have long and some have short is sometimes kind of jarring. I'm gonna say, like it's sort of like I don't understand. So why do some elves have long hair? Other elves have short hair. When before we've always known them to only visually have, like longer hair. Right. I just don't understand what's the distinction. It has no rhyme or reason. Like Elrond has short hair, Gil-galad has long hair.
Well, and
Galadriel has long hair.
Yeah. I mean, what do they do to try to convince you that Halbrand has changed into Anatar? They give him a long hair.
Long hair.
Right? Because that's the sell. It's like we got to sell you on this is actually like an elf and someone who is transcended and godlike and can actually fool and deceive. God. I mean, how do you fool Celebrimbor that this actually is? Unless he's in on the secret. Unless he watched him walk in there and said, "Oh God,
wow, dude,
wow, you are something. What are you?" Or maybe he claims to be a Maiar. He says something crazy to Celebrimbor to fool him. But right now, Celebrimbor looks like a freaking idiot. So
he probably guesses like his birthday. He was like, "You were born on the 1st of life, if I'm not mistaken." How did you know?
How did you? Yeah,
you're wearing purple underpants. Oh, your umbrella won't open. Oh, do you think that's real?
So,
do you think that's real?
We got to get away from the Celebrimbor conversation.
Okay, my bad. Yeah. Sorry, it's
it's fine. They actually do lower the they're getting into the forge action here, and so that's kind of cool. We're seeing.
Yep.
Seeing that shape up, maybe somebody will actually hammer something. I'm not sure. Then we get.
That's a very Tatooine shot there, isn't it?
Yeah. So we're going out.
Of Rune.
I guess this is the far
Rune.
east, right? Is this Rune kind of?
Yep.
Does that make sense? It seems like this is where everyone's talking. Like we see the stranger go is out in this desolate, desert, and we have the moth, the priestess of the moths, whatever they're called.
Yes. Yeah. The mystic moths, the moth mystics, mothwomen, or whatever they are. Moth people. Did you see that they're at least supposedly one of the other actors is confirmed as a wizard? So whether we know that the stranger is an Astari or not, we do have another Astari. The guy from, I think is he in The Patriot or is he in one of the other movies? Kieran Hines or whatever his name is.
Okay.
Very familiar face actor, but he is confirmed as a wizard or an Astari, and some people are thinking that he is Saruman. I don't know why, but if if he is there and the stranger's going east, then they might be confirmed as like the two blue wizards. If there's another one already there, you know.
Right. Here's folks know, we're gonna after this episode we're gonna wrap up our thing here, and I do have something. I just saw a quick glimpse of what the showrunners are saying.
Sweet.
I think they give us a clue. I think they almost flat out tell us.
Oh, heck yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we'll break that down in just a second. So just to tie in, make sure you stick around and go to the next episode, and we'll talk about that. But yeah, so we'll come back to the whole. He walks into. If you ever wondered what Tom Bombadil's house looks like, is this what you envision?
This is his cottage in the east, okay? So it's a little more kind of modern.
bad.
It's a little more minimalistic. He's got the candles and the walls. Goldberry's not there to make it feel homely, you know?
Right.
I mean,
yeah. So
oh my
weird.
God,
I mean, they're basically telling the backstory of Tom Bombadil, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're
is that what they're doing? Yeah. I mean, so it's so funny because, like, I mean, I think that, like, if you have an official, it's just so funny. I don't know. That almost seems to me more like fan fiction than an adaptation. Like when they're doing this kind of stuff with Tom and stuff, it's just kind of like it's not based in anything. It's just very interesting to me. So he's out east, yes, and he's going to get this kind of direction from. It's very interesting too to think about the trajectory of the stranger going from like not being able to talk to the question he asked where he says, am I to be the main adversary of Sauron? Mm-hmm. So he learns about the intricacies of like who Sauron is. I mean, I guess if you are in a story, I don't know how fast your memory or your task or whatever would come back to you. Do that shot of Ar-Pharazôn and the Palantir is pretty cool. I'm assuming that's what that is.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
I like how that.
So, real quick though, back to your point. I mean, with the Astari, like they're showing up here, and it's like, I guess, thank God Tom Bombadil was there to tell them what their role is.
Right. Yeah. It just
isn't that strange? Like that's
we're presuming that Tom would.
The timing is weird. That like Sauron hasn't even created Mordor yet, and
right.
So Sauron wasn't a threat. He was actually out on a raft.
Yeah.
He was actually out on a raft when they sent the Astari.
Yeah,
So
good point.
It's hard to make the correlation that I get why the stranger is confused.
Gosh, dude.
What was I sent
And then
here
also
for?
and then also for, again, it just seems like I'm going to take this from this shelf and put it over there. Like the one person who would probably be least concerned with what Sauron's doing is Tom Bombadil. So we're going to take Tom Bombadil and make him this jolly tree spirit. Sometimes we think he's God, you know, you and me personally.
Yeah.
But like this spirit of the woods, and we're going to make him this great counselor to the Astari. He was the dude who took the ring. He took the ring that Sauron made, the one ring, tossed it up into the air and started giggling and made it vanish. And now all of a sudden he's like going to be giving, you know, one of the 5 wizards like great instruction. It just doesn't make any sense.
Well,
dude. That makes no sense to me.
So let me tell you why they have to do it, because they literally put all of their, what do you call it, chickens in a basket, or eggs in a basket.
Yeah, eggs in a basket.
The old saying about ducks in a row. They that was for me. Get your ducks in a row before you open your mouth. Daggone it. But when you start off with season 1, it's like, okay, they don't. Why does the stranger not know what his purpose is? Because he was a part of the guessing game, right? He was a part of.
Yes.
Is he
Sauron?
Is he Sauron?
True.
Since you made him a part of the guessing game, he can't really know what his purpose is, and he has to not talk and be mysterious and all these different things. Whereas I feel like in reality, they were sent. And I don't think their memories were wiped, and they just showed up and said, "Someone lead me, and I can barely speak and fend for food. I need food."
Yeah.
You know, and so then did Manwë say like, "Hey, Tom Bombi, I'm gonna send some guys to you. They're not gonna know what happened. We're gonna transform them, and
right,
they're gonna rinse their minds. You're gonna have to tell them what's up." That's what it feels like.
Rinse their minds. Yeah.
That's
a great expression.
Like they have no clue what they're doing or why they're sent there, unless their other brothers are supposed to find them. And then is he the first one? And so he just doesn't know. And so it just seems like a pretty stupid thing to not know what your purpose is and what your doing there when you were literally sent there to aid Middle Earth in their fight against Sauron? And so
I'll tell you where
is weird.
I'll tell you where I think they got that like precedent, because I think they actually pulled that from, ironically, the Lord of the Rings, when Gandalf the White comes back and doesn't quite, you know, when Aragorn says Gandalf, oh
yeah.
Yes, that was my name. That's what they used to call me. I think they literally might have gone back and said, we'll see when this transfiguration happens. He's a little foggy on the past. He died, after all. You know, he was sent back. And so maybe we could make him kind of...
Lane, I get
you know
it.
What I'm saying?
Hold on, I get it.
Yeah.
So when Gandalf came back, what we didn't see in the trilogy or in the books was actually, before he showed up there in the forest, Tom Bombay said, Gandalf, come here, they sent you back, dog. come here.
Let me remind you.
I don't know what.
Tom,
look, you don't
Tom's
know.
Definitely a.
But listen, you were Gandalf. You might not remember that in 2 seconds. All right, you're gonna pretend like you forgot. And by the way, you need to go fight Sauron. Oh, he's still, you know, like, I mean, come on, like it just it's so. I get what you're saying though. Is that's kind of the whole like, oh, is that what I was called? Yeah, and I get that. There's
I don't
some
agree
sort of
with
loss
it. I just I just think that's maybe what their thinking was. Like, I think it's stupid, but so I have an
it's fine to have a little bit of confusion, I think, and to do that, but then to not know your freaking purpose at all, it's like, weird.
It doesn't make much sense. I did think it was interesting. This is just another little aside that so this whole revelation that Tom Bombadil's in the show, right, came like, I want to say a couple days after Hunt for Gollum was announced. And I think it was like a legit PR move to try and position the show as like, see, we care more about the books than even Peter Jackson. Peter Jackson didn't think Tom Bombadil, because it was this whole article right up on Tom Bombadil, and they were like, I really feel like it was like this thing to like this positioning with fans, which is a joke. Maybe they thought it was going to work, to be like, see, he didn't even think he was important enough for the movie. We've got him in our show. See how lore heavy we are. See how much we care about Tolkien's writings. See how much. Don't think about the movie with Andy Serkis directing and Peter Jackson going back to New Zealand. Don't think about that. Think about how exciting this season's going to be. We've got Tom Bombadil. Like, for real. I for real think that like what I. Yeah.
Yeah,
but it was legit. Because I texted you when it happened. It was days after. It might have been the next day that they broke the story with Vanity Fair that Tom Bombadil, and look at how great this actor is, and he's never done an emotive performance in his life, but he's going to bring Tom hopping. He's not going to hop. I guarantee that. He's not going to sing. He's not going to smile. He barely even makes a facial expression in anything we've seen, like picture or video. Like, someone even said to me, I was talking to Jake. Jake was like, dude, his clothing isn't even bright. Like, he was known for like the bright yellow boots and the feather in his hat and like the blue and the gold. And it was like this
it's all that
manifestation.
Sand. It's all that sand out there.
Yeah. I guess when he goes out east, he gets his tan and just like sort of just strips his clothes off, or goes with the brown. I don't know. Yeah.
Can I tell you something? Okay.
Yeah.
I told folks before we started this in our live on Instagram that I was going to talk about politics. Let me talk about politics for a second here. Okay. Lane's going to start sweating again. Holy smokes. Now, this might tick a lot of people off. All right. I apologize, because it might get a little serious here. By the way, remember, Ez is always kind of joking, okay? Even when I say I'm serious, I'm
seriously
on the show.
When you say you love me, is that a joke? Like,
that's not a joke, all right, dude?
Okay.
That's not a joke. By the way, I've been watching How I Met Your Mother, and, you know, whenever Barney basically is sort of like, you know, he's like, no, I didn't do this, wink, right? So I'm going to start doing that just to let everybody know where I'm at. Anyways, politic-wise, think about this. So when you have your independent voter, why is the independent voter sought after and the swing states sought after? Because the bases, and I mean, if you disagree with me, it's totally fine, but you've got your base over here on the left and your base over here on the right, and they're like, hey, the base is good. We don't got to worry about them. This is going to tick some people off. I'm just kidding, okay? But like, look, hey, I've voted red for 30 years. I'm voting red 30 more, okay? All right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So... okay, you've got your base here and you've got your base there. And you start to kind of look for that independent. Let's get those guys over here, like Ez right now. They're sort of like, look, I mean...
the free agents.
With the free agents, you've got them in the camo shirt. You're halfway there, guys. Let's get them up in a tree stand tomorrow and Come on now, we've almost got this guy. Tell him to get rid of those glasses he was wearing earlier. But okay, so with Lord of the Rings, right? You've got two camps now. You've got the old guard, Peter Jackson, and you've got everything going over there with the films, and they're building out that universe. And Rings of Power is over here going like, hold on a second now. And so, like you said, this move with Tom Bombadil was to say, how do we go get some of those guys? Maybe
Yes.
There's got to be a way we can weave him in here, and it is a fan service. It's fine. I'm totally just kind of just messing.
But it's kind of stupid.
I mean, it's like I guess if I was running the show, you need to do something. You got to bring in something. I don't know if I'd be this as I don't want to say pretentious, but if I would go as far as making him super intricate to like dictating to the Astari what their role is, and I know that the people are worried that he's in the East and he shouldn't be there. His home is in the Old Forest. Well, okay, things change, and I can actually kind of even understand. It's believable that he wasn't maybe always there, although the book kind of says so that always
he pretty much
says
he remembers. It was his home. Like, and we even talked about that. Remember when we read, we were like, wait, can he leave the Old Forest? Oh, yes, he can leave the Old Forest, but he prefers to stay there. Doesn't he also talk about remembering when it was like 10,000 times the size it was? And like, so that implies that he'd been there predominantly forever. Yeah, so it's definitely a show move. It's definitely, again, Tom Bombadil's over here. We're going to move him to that shelf over there. Why? Well, because, Tolkien would have wanted it. Don't worry about it. Shut up.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but
they're trying to get me.
Interesting, dude.
Lane, it goes back to what I titled the episode, Shillville, okay? They said,
to me,
how do we get the flannel wizard, right? It's a political move.
Move on in. Yeah.
We know he loves Tom Bombadil, okay? We know he loves Gandalf. We know the wizards are popular. Let's pretend like this is Gandalf for a hot second. Let's get Tom Bombi in there. And you know what? You kind of got, I'm going to be honest with you, you kind of did get me a little bit. These things work, dude. They're all at the end of the day, the independent voter is going to vote one way or the other. And so now I'm like, all right, this is coming out. I'm gonna sit at the table for a little bit. What are you guys going to serve me? You know
what's funny though is when you get a shit sandwich, because like we're gonna like the people. It's weird to me because I think if you're gonna try and swing someone. That sounds bad. If you're going to try and like get someone to vote on your side, right? Bring them to your party. I would think that the people who are like in love with Tom Bombadil are probably the last people who are going to make that move, because typically those people are the ones who maybe not. But I would say most of the time those are the people who have a deep appreciation for the stories themselves, like the books, like reading the books. And he's so polarizing anyway. Are we talking like, is this like veiled discussion of politics? Like, are we talking about JFK or RFK Jr. right now? So like, I really think that like he's the wrong guy or wrong character to try and like pull people over, because again, like we know who Tom Bombadil is. We spent more time with him than people wanted us to. Like we fell in love with him during our reread. And I think if I don't see him portrayed the right way, it's just going to be another thing they screwed up. It's going to be another thing where I'm like, why? Why did you make him this when he's so explicitly this? And the other thing they said, too, that I thought was such a weird comment. It was in an article somewhere. They're like, well, actually, Tom, 50% of and they gave an actual number. Like if they literally said 50% or over 50% of Tom Bombadil's lines are lifted directly from Tolkien. And I'm like,
that's
what?
Gonna be strange.
Like most of the stuff he's talking about is Goldberry, the Withywindle. He's talking to Sam, Frodo, Merry, and Pippin. He's talking about the Ring. He's talking about Washing Day. How the hell are you going to just use? Are you counting the words the, and, with, them, hey? Like, is that what you're including? Because then no problem, I got it. But it just seemed like such an obvious ploy for people to give them a second chance.
Yeah,
I'm like, you don't have to say that, I don't know.
For sure. And so part of this, and to go back to politics, you have the, it's going to sound pretentious a little bit, but the informed individuals. Okay, now I ain't saying I'm informed on next to anything. Okay, what I like to be informed on is these fantasy worlds. Okay, that's where I'm like, I want to know something about that. Okay, but But when you're trying to make a play towards like the masses or whatever, the masses don't always freaking know, and so you're like, they might have heard of this name, and they might there's a group of them are like this is a big touchy name that's been in headlines, and people are like, oh, it's gonna get people to be intrigued and interested, and then like you said, once they start to dig a little bit into it, and if they haven't grown up with it, and if they're not as attached to it as you and I, they're not going to care if it's squandered. They're not going to care if it was a mess or not. It was just like, oh, it's cool. They threw that in there. Whereas if they were, like I said, it was, again, being kind of joking, like trying to get a viewer like me to say, oh, we're going to get old Ez to be, locked in here because of Tom Bombadil. Half of me is like, all right, I'm intrigued. I am intrigued. But I'm already, based upon the trailer that I've seen, like, what? How? Yeah, come on, guys. Like, I'm expecting, and he's not where I expected him. I'm expecting him to behave the same way that he did when we see him later. Like, they come across him, he's a weird enigma. All right, cool beans. He's been there. Makes sense that you just ran across him. Maybe and Elrond saw him somewhere over there, and I would be like, all right, that's cool. It's interesting. It's just a little Easter egg. That's all. It's just an Easter egg. But now it's not an Easter egg. It's actually legit a part of the story and the fight against Sauron. Yeah. So you're like, okay, is that what Tolkien intended? Is that really what he? And that's what they're going to sell, folks. I'm going to say no too. I mean, flat out. That's right. Not. But that's what they're going to sell to folks. And so now you go from being like, I'm going to step up to the table and take a look at that to like you said with the sandwich that's what'd you call it? Poopy. The SH sandwich. Yeah. Bad sandwich. Bad sandwich. Sandwich. And it's like, so it's weird. It's weird that he's in this, and I'm intrigued. I'm going to see how they pull it off, and if it's bad, I'm going to say it's bad. I want to be good cop. We want to be good cop, bad cop here a little bit, but man, it's just it's hard when it's all bad.
Let me ask you, what would be a deal breaker for him? He'd have to be able to. He has to sing, right? If he doesn't sing, is it a deal breaker?
I mean, I'm sure
we know he's going to, because he's in the soundtrack. But he's going to sing. I'm sure he's going to sing some kind of like very deep, soulful thing instead of something silly. Like, I don't see him being comic relief.
Well, again,
he was.
I think they're going to try to show us this is him before. That they're going to try to tell us that this is him before Goldberry.
And this is evolution of the character.
Yeah. This is him several thousand years ago, and again, that's all them basically saying we are. It's the danger with telling this story, kind of. I mean, at some point, they're going to take it into their own hands and say, we're going to write the story that Tolkien never wrote. Yeah. And we think they're writing it wrong. So that is a problem when that's a big thing to do. It's one of the things the issues I have with Star Wars is sort of like, I mean, when certain things start to what we have in our mind and our hearts that's already pre-established by the creator, and then you start to say, well, look, the reason those characters were thinking that is because of my show. My show is going to tell you why they actually made that decision and thought that thing. And even though the creator even he might not have explicitly said, it was sort of implied. It was just sort of their given, state of mind or whatever. I think of the Jedi Council and their state of mind with their decision making. There's an idea. There's not. It's not directly stated, but it's implied, and there's this idea that's there. And then you go and make a show that says, no, we're going to tell you directly why they made that decision, and it sort of starts to kind of preach to or like dictate to that other show that was. It makes itself important, right? It makes itself like, hey, this is important because it's going to explain that thing. And the reason you do it is it's a safety net, because you're sort of like, well, this is also going to be something that's going to tie into the main thing, and this is why it matters. Versus like, we'd rather just have a story that was never told that just barely alludes to the trilogy. That's so far back but this is all leading. They went Rings of Power, and they went like, we are going to give you the details that were never there. And we're going to also give them to you in a way that's out of order and not necessarily the way it was, right? Even the small allusions that are there, they've changed them. But it sounds like they're trying to course correct, but where I get nervous is with Tom Bombadil. It makes me nervous. I love Tom Bombadil. I love Gandalf, but I mean, dude, I'm nervous as heck. Now I'm waiting. I'm like, dude, I mean, I think Peter Jackson could throw him in there and in a way that, not that he'd throw him in for the hunt for Gollum, but shoot, there's other ways.
What if he did?
What if he
just
did?
Like,
Dude, and what if he knocked it out of the park? And we're like, oh, I mean, look, if Rings of Power can tell a story that never happened, then Peter Jackson, go right ahead, dude, and just capture the spirit.
Get
of
Jack
of
Black.
Tolkien. Just
Yep.
go. Do it,
Yep.
Yeah, get Jack Black and just go crazy.
Shit.
Anyway,
I mean, dude, at this point, like Peter Jackson himself could be he'd play a great Tom Bombadil. Honestly.
Oh, for sure.
It'd be great.
Yeah. All right, so
You got this big,
just move through this. It's basically, he's out east, and now this part was interesting. The Pharazôn bit with him looking into the Palantir, it going from blue like water to fire, this growing fire. People were talking about what this symbolizes, and then you get the Balrog with the next shot, right? So they're trying to. Is it?
I didn't understand that. Like, why is Anatar looking? Is he seeing it in the flames or something? Like, what is?
Yeah, I don't know.
Looks like he's looking into a.
Yeah. He's. Let me go to it here. Looks like he's just. That looks like a torch or something, right?
Yeah, like they're at the forge or whatever, and he's like seeing a Balrog in the. I don't know. I was like, okay.
Like a vision of things that are coming, as if it's showing his power in some way.
Yeah.
Okay, like kind of, is he seeing the future?
Big emphasis on the Balrog too. Like big emphasis on the Balrogs.
Right. Yep. So we see him next, and he's coming in there to cause a doom, and there's gonna be a fight. So there's basically
bringing doom.
Two fights happening in this. You've got like the Siege of Eregion, right, where we're gonna see basically Anatar and all the orcs. I mean, after they tried to betray Sauron, he came back from the grave in 3 days. I know Satan when I see him. All right, and I'm gonna tell you, I shall not be deceived. All right. Anyway. So, he's going to show up there, and he's going to siege the city, and then it looks like you've got this other thing where after they're either before or after they're done with that, they're going to go help out the dwarves, but the dwarves are also going to go possibly help out at Eregion. I don't really know the order that they're going to go with this. Yeah. It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Like I said, action.
It will be.
And actually some of those are canon moments. A lot of these are canon moments and things that do happen. So that's encouraging, because a lot of what we had in season 1 was just made up. It was really just made up story with Galadriel on a raft, and it was kind of like it really was. It honestly was some things that were just made up, and then the things that were canon were out of order. And the whole timeline has been condensed, which, all right, fine. Even if you forget all of that and say this is just what it is, it's just strange. It was hard. Now, again, going back to people like Lottie and my students and people who, even Sarah, your wife, just it's for them, okay, it's a show. This is interesting. That happened, that didn't happen. And when they see things that are kind of like, oh, that's kind of cool. I go back to the Tom Bombadil thing. Oh, isn't that kind of neat? And we're like, yeah, that's neat, but it's also really risky and dangerous. But that's how they're getting folks, I think, into this. And so whatever. All right, moving on here. So you've got D4 telling D3 to take the ring off, right? Because he thinks it's corrupting him and different things. So there is some worry early on that the rings are going to be, an issue. But then you've got Muriel, who is going into the ocean there, probably foreseeing stuff. What do you think? I'm going to get your prediction real quick with Pharazôn and Numenor. Are they? Yeah. There's so many stories here, because you even have Isildur going up against freaking Shelob, I guess, or something. I don't know. With the spider later on. Yeah. But do you think Numenor is going to come try and do their whole? Are they going to have the Golden Pharazôn moment where he comes in and
dude, I don't know.
Takes Sauron almost into custody.
Yeah. It almost kind of seems like the whole we'll make Muriel blind. I almost think like she's going in the water there as some sort of ceremony to try and heal her vision, to bring her sight back. Okay. I don't know why. I'm just like, why? What are we doing here? Why is a blind woman going into the water? It just seems kind of strange, unless it's some kind of ritual, right? And it looks very ritualistic, unless she's just literally swimming and they're just trying to make us think stuff.
There was that shot, remember, of the sea creature that
monster.
They showed? Yeah. Like she's a sacrifice. She's going to sacrifice herself or something.
I don't understand. I don't know.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah. Right. I think the whole thing that they're building with Pharazôn is he's just going to kind of slowly creep in. And instead of making him this big military figure who like goes and kicks Sauron's butt. They're going to make him this influencer who slowly takes over possession of Numenor. And like, well, the king's dead and Muriel's blind. So, I'm the next guy, with these hands, the calluses of my hands, you can trust me, don't worry about it. Like they're almost kind of making him uber political as opposed to like the war, like the warrior that he was really in the story. So yeah, that's my kind of prediction is that I don't really have a big one. It's just he's just going to slowly kind of like wriggle his way in with his little son, and they're going to like take over. I don't know. Like, will he go get his hands dirty fighting Sauron? I guess. Do you buy that guy wielding a sword? I don't. I can't imagine him taking up anything bigger than a pen. Like, for real. Like, he just doesn't look like a dude you could sell as he's going to go kick some ass. Like, he doesn't look like it.
Right.
And, it would be so I would say probably not. But my thing is, like, is Elendil going to go back and try and find his son?
It looks like
is he worried about Isildur or? Yeah,
let me see if we can find that. There was like a ceremony or something. It looked like he was walking past. There was these people are coming of age, or they're getting their shirt, or these were people that were lost at battle or lost at sea, and they were kind of having this ceremony for them. I'm not even sure what that was, but there is just one clip of him walking by, and we have no clue. Yeah, I'm interested. What is Numenor going to do? Is it going to be like we bounce over to Numenor, and do they know anything that's going on? Are they interested in anything? They're using the Palantir to see stuff. Are they being corrupted by Sauron already? Is he using one? I have no clue.
Farazan's riding around on eagles. Is he just taking flights over to Middle Earth at willy-nilly?
Right. Yeah, people were
Eagle
saying
Uber.
That was a little weird. Yeah. People were saying actually that it could have been that it's maybe some Valinor influence to sort of say like, hey, don't do what you're gonna do. Like that eagle's gonna speak. It's gonna speak and say, back down.
Interesting.
Dude, I don't know.
Interesting.
Okay. Okay. So let me play this through here a little bit. We get the destruction of Khazad-dûm, and we already saw the Muriel stuff. Yeah. So we have Tom Bombadil back here. I mean, that line right there. He says, "Will you abandon them to their doom?"
Look how jolly he looks. Doesn't he look so jolly?
He looks terribly miserable. I mean, he looks very miserable. And he looks very concerned about the people of Middle Earth. And maybe they're trying to say that, hey, he used to be concerned and now he's not. I can't wait to read the article later to see if they have any thoughts on it. It's gonna be interesting. But Lane, I guess what are they seeking out here? Is like Sauron, does he have some? Was his early corruption already here? Does he have some foothold in the east already?
Yeah, or is he trying to say there's some kind of untapped force in the east? Like, can you come convert them and bring them west to fight against Sauron? Like this, you could be some kind of again, but that seems very misleading from Tom. Like if he knows that, because like the whole theories of. Or I think what Tolkien implied about the Blue Wizards is they wandered east and they like set up cults and they forgot their purpose, and like they ended up being like kind of like, for lack of a better term, like to use Christian terms, like pagans. They were like more aligned or more easily convinced by the darkness than they were by the light. So yeah, I don't know what the angle is here. Like what is he implying?
Yeah. Will you abandon them to their doom? And it doesn't seem like they're
he just showed up
in that area. Right. He just showed up. He's like, hold on a second, Tom.
What Doom? Mount Doom? I thought that was Wally World. Yeah.
Well, and so they're way far away from that. I mean, this is sort of like, this is a separate conflict that's going on that I don't think has anything to do with Linden or anything. Right? These characters over here will never really come over to really interact yet with everyone else. It just is strange. It's strange. Right. Some people were saying we might see some runic kind of dwarves, and that we'll see that there are some runic dwarves, and that we might see some of the great rings of power go there, because we know that there are seven of them, and one or two might go out that way, and so we'll see some sort of influence out there that we've never heard of, and they could really tell us sort of what's going on there.
Doesn't that seem like distracting from the main point, though?
It seems like too much. It seems like there's a heck of a lot going on. And it's also hard to follow is that Sauron's influence, or is it just they were kind of left to their own devices and
Right,
these wizards
right.
they just went in there and they were worshipped as gods maybe or something, and
Right.
because like you said, from what it seems like the rumors that happened is they sort of got they got lost in their quest a little bit, and they sort of settled down and just stayed there, and we don't really know. They're not a factor later on. We don't even know if they're still alive.
No.
We have
Right.
no clue what happens to them. So
It feels like a spin-off at best. It's kind of what like the vibe.
right. So there's a whole separate quest going on there, which the weirdest thing is almost, if you're going to write fanfic, I would have rather just write your fanfic about that. I mean, because there's nothing that's really going to, be, it's all going to be believable to me, I guess, So just go tell a story about the blue wizards, make that super sick and crazy and have allusions to Sauron, but when you're trying to mix it all in here together, it feels like, one, too much, and then two, I don't really know that there are connections between the two.
Yeah.
Necessarily. I mean, there
Yeah.
are, but not explicit, detailed connections. There's just a separate story with it. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's going to be strange. That will be intriguing to figure out and to talk about throughout the season, like what's going to happen there, with that. So,
definitely.
Let's get through the rest of this here. We have Sauron, who Anatar, Halbrand, he's walking through, and he full on is, we already mentioned Adar trying to kill him or whatever, but the last half of this trailer is about the war that's going to happen, the battle, but the city that they're at here is where Celebrimbor is, and it's where the forging of the rings is happening, and so they're sieging it, which is interesting, and I think that could be because Celebrimbor is withholding the 9 because he says, "Give me the 9," right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Almost like he fooled him and realized I need to do something, and he tried to destroy them. So you've got so many fights going on. You've got the fight with the Balrog, you've got the fight with Sauron, and you've got the stranger out fighting God knows what. We don't know what he's fighting.
I've heard theories that Tom's going to give his hat to the stranger. Do you think that's going to happen?
Shut up.
Because it looks a lot like a wizard hat. It doesn't look like Tom's hat.
It does
necessarily.
It does absolutely look like. I actually thought it was looked like Gandalf's hat for a second. I was like, dude.
Yeah. There's people who are implying that maybe that's what's going to happen. Yeah, we got the first shot of Isildur fighting Shelob's or Ungoliant spawns.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We got the Entwives, which is kind of cool, and it sounds like maybe they're going to explain the Entwives as falling to the darkness. Is that what you kind of gathered too?
Yeah.
They're fighting Galadriel here.
I don't know.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, they say. I think they say something like forgiveness takes an age, or something like that.
Yeah, maybe they're mad about deforestation,
or maybe, or they did they sin themselves and are they really going to show the wives as evil, dude? Would they go that far, man? That's crazy.
Remember all those theories that they became the trolls or whatever too? Remember how
God. Yeah.
they were taken and twisted by Sauron and became other creatures, and they were almost I don't know if I think that might have been just some kind of fan theory, but I remember running across that when we were reading about the Entwives and Come Back to Me.
Yeah.
God, do you remember that song?
That's so Ephraim.
Ephraim. Oh my gosh.
Still up on the page, up on the YouTube. Go check it out, guys. It's so good.
So good.
And what is Arondir doing?
I don't know.
We got too many characters, dude. I don't know how you follow everybody.
Dude. I think Arondir and Isildur are hanging out. There have been a lot of shots of publicity shots of them together. So I don't know if Arondir goes and he finds and saves Isildur, and they're just kind of broing it out. There's a new female lead that comes in, and everyone's assuming it's Isildur's wife.
Oh yeah. So I saw that.
Yeah. So because again, that would just be the easiest thing to say. Here we got Celebrimbor looking kind of dirty, looking kind of forgy.
Dude, I hope he does something epic. Give me one saving thing about this dude who just does something epic for everyone.
Dude,
and
it looks like he's throwing rings into the fire, right? He's trying to destroy something.
The 9. And this is where, if he does realize that he's been duped and he then fights back, I would love to see him fight Sauron, dude. I'd love to see him try, really do something of significance, because later on he's the Bannerman. He's.
Do you think we'll see that? Do you think we'll see him?
I don't
on the ends
think so, but I
don't
hope
either.
so. In a weird
God,
way.
can you imagine?
If you're gonna go, you want to go dark because the interview I'm going to show you guys here in a second. Next episode is about the darkness. They say it's dark. They say season 2 is dark, which I'm like, okay, dude, like let's go. I thought that Sauron and Galadriel on a raft hooking up was dark.
It's pretty dark.
But they got me. They said it's darker than that.
Darker than that.
All right. By the way, this show is fun. I gotta say, I actually,
It's been a blast.
It's
dude.
a blast, and
awesome.
I know we kind of take like a joking tone with it or whatever. By the way, no one who was like involved in Rings of
Somebody's
Power
got to.
will have listened to this point
No.
of our
No.
episodes, so they're gonna hear everything we said at the front and be like, "These guys hate this stuff." Look,
I'll tell you.
I'm intrigued. And you had us in the first 2 episodes. They're beautiful. In season 1, the first 2 episodes are beautiful. The music's beautiful, costumes, sets, it's cool, all of it. But the story right now in season 1 was whatever. Now, season 2, redeem yourselves. I want to see something cool.
Right.
But anyway,
Prove it.
Yeah. Okay. Pretty much that's that. Yeah, kind of. We've talked about the eagle and some of the things, and it's just really a bunch of battle scenes. And you see Celebrimbor holding up the ring. Looks like one of the 9 rings that he might be trying to destroy.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's very like intricate for one of the other rings. But I mean, I guess if it's a ring of power, it probably is pretty. Isn't it interesting? We don't ever see the Nazgul's rings. Why is that? Do they not have them anymore? Like in the Lord of the Rings. Like I wonder why that's something we don't see. Do they not have? Did like Sauron take them back?
Don't know. Yeah, great.
And that's why they're wraiths. I don't know. Interesting. But like to see that is very it's kind of interesting.
Right.
Whose ring is that? Yeah.
And what is
a lot of battle scenes? Yeah.
What is Galadriel doing this whole time? That's not revealed at all in this trailer.
Dude, she's out there slaying, bruh. She's out there slaying
her ring is
wives.
Guiding her to who? Where? I mean, to what?
I think her next target is a seal door. She's going to try and lay a seal door.
Okay.
And then I think when they're about to consummate, she's going to like Celeborn's going to walk in and be like, "Where were you? You had all that time to hunt down Sauron. You didn't come after me, baby." And she's going to be like, "I didn't know you were alive. Like I couldn't sense you."
Could be. I've been
trying to get rid of you.
Somebody said that the hand that's touching her face, like you said earlier, like Elrond,
it's Celeborn. Sure.
Celeborn.
Okay.
So
yeah,
but we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I thought that too. I was like, maybe it's not Elrond's hand. We're supposed to think it's Elrond's hand, but it sure looks like the same scene. But yeah, it totally could be.
Yeah,
we get one tiny shot of Elendil.
Yeah. They had that shot there of
Jesus,
him,
dude.
Which is cool. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much we've gone through all the different shots and stuff. There's, I feel like there's that. She's getting touched by Caleb. That was whoever's touching her it's looking pretty intimate. Like it just looks like someone she hasn't seen in a while, and it's a very intimate kind of touch. So.
An intimate touch.
Intimate touch. Anyways, intimacy coordinator is still at large. In all of this and
missing in action.
Remember that? Remember when we were covering that? My God, this
Lord of the Rings fans aghast over possible Game of Thrones intimacy and new TV show. I remember that. Yeah,
crazy. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, so overall, like you said, there's some good, there's some bad, there's some in between, and yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like you said,
Are you there?
more action.
Sorry, did it just glitch out?
Yeah. Well, I mean, no. Well, did technology glitch out, or did you just sort of like yourself go, I have to say something about this overall? And what am I gonna say? I'm kidding. No, it's like for me, real quick.
It might have been
my
both.
overall my overall thoughts are I'm hopeful. I think there's a lot of action. Give me some cool things go down. There are some cool canon moments, but how they handle the elves having the rings at the time that they do, and their decision making behind all of that's gonna be interesting. Tom Bombadil's gonna be the interesting conversation for everyone. I think everyone's gonna have major takes on this, and that might be their thing, is to make headlines with that and to make headlines with the story they tell, and they might not be great. I mean, it might be again a lot of really big content creators were By the way, who have gone to the premieres? We don't go because, you know, we haven't chilled.
Kids table.
We're at the kids table.
Right.
We were never invited, which is okay. We're not. I'm not bitter about it.
I don't think I want to go.
Honestly,
anyway.
dude, the crazy thing is, before this show started, can you imagine? It's a weird position to be in to say, yeah, like we're gonna promote your show, and then all of a sudden you get the show, and you're like, God dang, dude, what do you want us to say, man? Like,
contractually obligated. That's what I'm saying.
Good. We're probably okay because I mean, again, we just had major issues with season 1. All right, moving on. To wrap this up, guys, I'm hopeful. I know a lot of our listeners, by the way, are people. We have plenty of people who are in and willing to give this show a second chance, or who just love season 1 and we're on board and really don't get what our whole deal is, and that's okay. I like that. I actually like that there are people who are down, who are just into it. Like, let's go. I often think of people who just like watching TV. Like my sister, she just loves binge watching shows. And so she's like, hey, is that a good show? Should I check it out? And it's like, for her, yeah, it's like, she's fascinated. Oh, man, that's Sauron, right? I mean, so you got someone like her who doesn't care at all if this, I mean, she's just not a Tolkien fan, She's just not.
Yeah.
And this is where it gets for us kind of like, man, are they just really trying to make a popular generic, like a TV show that has Tolkien's sort of, it's coming from his, legendarium, and they are. I mean, I know, because what sold us on it was that it's the IP, and but what sold us was that there was going to be really authentic, and it was going to be very much holding up its spirit and all those different things, and that's the stuff that got us locked in. That's not the stuff that my sister would care about at all. She wants to know, like, is it cool? Is there action? Is there? So there are those fans
worth watching.
Watching, and so I do want to say that hats off to the showrunners. If that, like, what's their objective, Lane? What they're telling us their objective is with season 1, when they were talking to Tolkien fans in the fan base, like your base, as I was talking about with politics, okay? You tell them this, and the base is all hyped up, but then when you go to office and you're in the presidency, and none of the things that you promised on the campaign trail are actually coming.
Oh my gosh, dude!
Coming real, then we're sort of like, hey, man, I thought you said this was going to be this thing, but anyways,
I'm a voter, man.
Just my takes. Any final thoughts before I'm done rambling about this thing?
No, I think I think that's spot on. I mean, it's again, it seems like a weird play to get like such a big IP and then just kind of make it for casual fans when you could get a far larger audience if you just even like 50% more stuck to what Tolkien wrote. But yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of almost sort of what it seems like. Like they sort of started maybe with the intention of making a good show based on Tolkien's writings in Middle Earth, and then kind of at some point said, let's just make money. Let's just get like a lot of viewers. Let's see how we can we change stuff? Can we like take formulas from other shows? Can we like we know that there was some kind of weird influence with like someone's obsession with Breaking Bad and like pulling in writers from Breaking Bad and being like, well, we're going to make Sauron like Walter White because that was such a popular show and we like the show. And so, that I think there's definitely elements of that where it's like, sort of, it's ironically, it's sort of like they're shills themselves. This season, I'm going to give it a second chance. I'm going to see, like you said, see what nuggets you can pull from it. We're like, okay, that's cool. Like that's good. And again, like almost just sort of the fascination with how in the hell are you going to bring all this stuff together? How are you going to make all these different things
connect,
make sense?
Yeah,
or the spectacle of like you're not going to be able to, and just watching it kind of fall apart in real time. So both are like, they're both win-win. They're both good reasons to watch a show. I mean, sometimes you watch shows because of how bad they are too. Like there have been tons of times where I've watched a show and just been like, this is terrible. Like I watch The Bachelor and The Bachelorette all the time with Sarah because it's awful. I'm like, this is just terrible. Yeah. But it's entertaining. Like we have all these reality shows. It's almost like reality Middle Earth, kind of. It's like there's almost, for people who might really seriously be offended by like the lack of real story stuff, especially in season 1 that was there. Like maybe that's why you watch it. I don't know, just to kind of have conversations too is great, and to learn new things, and then to be like, okay, was this actually something Tolkien wrote? Let me go check it out. Okay, yes, it was, or okay, no, it wasn't, and then you can kind of build your own knowledge that way too. It's a good, yeah. Do you want to save those two little nuggets for the beginning of the next episode as like an opener?
Oh, yeah.
And then
Yeah,
we'll read the
cool.
article. Is that cool?
Because you've got some
gone long,
behind-the-scenes
and then
stuff, some exclusive
baby.
nuggets that you kind of want to talk about. Yeah, we're going kind of long here.
Yeah.
And I think, I think we've said what we want to say. It's, to me, like I'm giving a second chance. Going to go into it. We want your guys' participation, by the way, too. So we are going to be doing a Hobbit hotline, and we are going to be opening up the phones and getting after it. Because at the end of the day, if we're not gonna, if we kind of anticipated with like season 1, well, it didn't finish on a strong note for us. So again, being hopeful, it might turn around. I might be super pumped, and maybe we'll see where we're at. But if you guys are pumped about it, cool. We want to share that. No one needs to be afraid to call in here and tell us that they like the show and that there's things that they like about it. Lane and I, we're both teachers, man. We have kids who come in and they like all sorts of different things, and so we get hyped. We're hype men, we like, all right, cool, sick. Tell us about that, dude. Like, what's up? What did you find cool about it? And so, feel free on the Hobbit Hotline to reach out and let us know. And also, hey, if you want to disagree with us and call us out for something we said, cool beans. We also are pretty chill about that, because at the end of the day, Lane, it's a freaking show, dude. Like we all put our pants on, go to work, and do our thing, and like. We just want to talk. This is just a way to kind of shoot the night breeze and just talk and talk Tolkien. And so I think it's if anything just fun to be back on the mics talking about it. And I hope they do. I hope they do a great freaking show. It's like I look at the stuff that goes on HBO, and I'm like, dude, holy crap, dude! They just produce really good TV. And so. You at least want, even if the lore is going to be off, this better be just a banger TV show. You know what I mean? Really just knock it out of the park. And let's hope that's the case. But, okay. With that, though, like I said, this is going long. Appreciate you guys. We're glad to be back on the mics, and we'll be back. And who lives? I don't know. Who lives in this show?
Halbrand lives, Anatar deceives. Adar is going to handle them both, baby.
So, somebody's living and somebody's dying, okay?
Celeborn, is he live?
Does he live? Does I doubt it. Does he make it through this season? I doubt it. So.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Dang, baby. All right.
See you guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. See you guys.